Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig, and this is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, we have a lot to cover on the program today, and I mean a lot. It is Friday, which means it's open phones on Friday. We call it Open MAGA Mike Friday. And on Open MAGA Mike Friday, you're welcome to call in about any and everything on your mind. It's the day that the show prep is up to all of you. So you're welcome to call in at 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631, about any and everything on your mind. You're not obligated to comment on anything that Steve or I bring up on the program. However, I do have a lot of issues and very important news stories that I want to cover and that I am going to cover. But I don't know, about an hour and a half ago, hour and 45 minutes ago, I learned about something, about a story that's in the news today, but I learned some of the deeper things that are not being covered in the mainstream news about it, and it is frightening. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not hyping things up. I learned something about 90 minutes ago, hour and 45 minutes ago, that's so upsetting that I'm sick to my stomach. I am, and not figuratively. It made me physically ill to my stomach. And I'm going to tell you what it is and walk you through it, and we're going to talk about it. And it is Open MAGA Mike Friday, so you can call in about anything and everything on your mind, but I'm hoping to get your thoughts on what I'm going to share with you. In fact, it was such upsetting details that I learned a little while ago that it changed what I was going to lead with on the air today. I was going to lead with something else, which I'm going to get to later because it's important and it's a very good story. But I had to change the lead just a few minutes ago. When I say the lead, whatever I think is the biggest story of the day, the most important story of the day, is what I start with as soon as I open up the mic at 6. That's just, what I do. And there's a lot of things that I get to during the course of the show and a lot of things I don't get to. But I always start with what I think is the big story of the day, for the most part. So there was one story, this is not what I was going to lead with, but there was one story I found out about when I was doing my show prep, and it was pretty upsetting. Earlier in the week, I told you about a new coup that was uncovered that we did not know about until this week, that Catherine Herridge at Fox News uncovered. And she uncovered a Justice Department beginnings of a coup of President Trump in his first term. Remember this? I was talking about it earlier in the week. And it was right after President Trump fired Comey. And when Trump fired Comey, Rod Rosenstein and a couple of others started a process to invoke the 25th Amendment and remove President Trump from office in response to his Comey firing. And that was pretty scary. That was earlier this week. That was pretty frightening. That coup happened and we didn't even know about it. And what really is frightening about that, for the 25th Amendment, you need the vice president to go along. It's their duty to handle that. They're the ones with the authority to bring up and invoke the 25th Amendment. And then you need the majority of the cabinet. So if Rod Rosenstein, who was the acting attorney general at the time, started working on that with the FBI, that means they probably had Pence involved and other cabinet members. And that was pretty scary to me. And but it was years ago. We didn't know about it. Then early this morning, when I was doing my show prep, I learned about something else, and this was pretty disgusting and scary. Project Veritas has a new whistleblower. And the Project Veritas new whistleblower was working for this company that Armstrong Williams was with. And she was involved in meetings where she took detailed handwritten notes throughout of Barr, and this was in the last couple of years, okay, of Bob Barr, who was President Trump's attorney general, the second attorney general of President Trump's at the end, that Barr was working with these people connected with Armstrong Williams to bring RICO charges against President Trump so that he could not run for president. And that was pretty frightening to me. I was like, oh my goodness, that's crazy. I didn't even know about that. It's a new Project Veritas whistleblower drop. And obviously they weren't successful, but I started thinking, well, wait a minute. Fannie Willis, she brought RICO charges against Trump and people that worked for him. Remember that? So was Bob Barr working with Fannie Willis somehow? Or I'm sorry, Bill Barr. I said Bob. Bob Barr was a congressman. Bill Barr. Do you guys remember Bob Barr? I remember Bob Barr. Was Bill Barr working with Fannie Willis, or was he working indirectly with Fannie Willis? Because if he's talking about RICO, and she has very detailed notes, and she said that Bill Barr had actually said that RICO is a good choice to go after Trump on to keep him from returning to politics, because RICO is a very difficult case to defend. And that was pretty scary to me. And I had a lot of other stories. But then I did a live stream on YouTube at like 3 a.m. this morning. And I talked about this Bill Barr story on that 3 a.m. live stream. And I don't know, I did a live stream for about an hour. And then I ended the live stream, and then someone sent me something. And a listener sent me something. And I learned something new. And this just scared the daylights out of me. And I will say this. I'll tell you exactly what it is after the break. After the first break. I'm going to jump right into it. Don't worry. I told you all when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, when they did that Bartiromo interview, we all talked about how they looked scared. Bongino in particular was sweating, and it made no sense because he's a TV guy, and Bongino has talked many times about he's seen things and he's like terrified. And a lot of people said with that Bartiromo interview with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino that they looked terrified. Well, now I know why, in part. And I told you guys then, because I was losing patience like a lot of you. I was upset with Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and Pam Bondi. And I told you guys then, hey, listen, they could take action, they could do this, they could do that, and I'll be the first one to say I was wrong about these guys, and I'm sorry, and that's what I'm doing right now. Anyone who was critical of Bongino or Kash Patel or Pam Bondi, but in particular Kash and Bongino were taking all the heat, you were wrong too. And they had good reason to be terrified. And these are, let me tell you, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are very, very brave guys. So I'm going to tell you exactly what I'm talking about right after the break. Our number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. First, though, I want to tell you about Friendly Tire in Margate. Friendly Tire in Margate, I've been a customer there for 15 to 20 years before they were a sponsor here on the program. And the reason I did that is because I found them out of necessity. Right? I've talked about this. I had a four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler. I got an incredible deal on it, and it had those massive tires. And the first time I needed tires, I understood why I got the great deal on it. It's very expensive to buy tires on Jeep Wrangler when you have the oversized four-wheel drive tires. And the tires, I was looking around, I was like, they're so expensive. Is the car even worth it? Maybe I should sell it. And then I found Friendly Tire in Margate. And Friendly Tire in Margate has the lowest prices on tires you will find anywhere. I'm going to give you the number in a moment. And Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire will give you a quote right over the phone. And remember, that price he gives you is out the door and on the road. He doesn't charge you to balance the tire, mount the tire, or dispose of your old tires. You can get brand new tires out there on the road and out the door and on the road for as low as $75 a tire. And that's for common tire sizes on some of the most common cars that are on the road today. Give Friendly Mike a call. He also has thousands of good used tires in stock at even lower prices, and he has all the name brands you know and love as well. His number is 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. That's 954-977-9445. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Call us on hold. You stand by. I will tell you what I learned right after this. All right. Rose, $25 super chat. Thank you so much, Rose. Greatly appreciated. Now, I'm going to jump right into it after the break. In fact, it was so scary what Kash Patel and Bongino have been going through that I had to write down, which I never do. I had to write it down because it was just so shocking. I couldn't remember the names, and I was so upset. I didn't even go out to Starbucks this morning. I didn't want to leave. After the break, I want to get right into it. Oh man, I just want to go. I have a Miss Pac-Man machine in my kitchen, little kitchenette area. I feel like I just want to go play Miss Pac-Man, and I don't need a pocket full of quarters because things happen, and it can be very upsetting.
Pain with his laser wave pain treatment. Shoulder injuries, arthritis, knee pain, all gone, and more. But don't just take my word for it. Monica called me live on the radio to tell me how Dr. Appleton...
Okay, we'll be back in about 90 seconds. Yeah, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. This is where MAGA comes to talk, and make sure you all like the video. If you don't mind, I would appreciate that. Oh, man.
It works. It really works. I am pain-free from my hand. He's amazing. Friendly staff. He's wonderful. And I highly recommend him, and I thank you so much.
This is the feed from the radio station.
I'm very grateful.
Call Dr. Appleton right now and say bye-bye to your pain, too. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. Online, AppletonCairo.com.
Do you suffer from neuropathy? I did, until I went to Lighthouse Medical Center in Pompano. Numbness, pain, burning, tingling in my hands and feet, muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching have all but disappeared. Say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. Call Lighthouse Medical Center for a free consultation.
Chris gifted some memberships. Thank you very much. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll get to the calls in a bit. We are back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. All right, so let me get into it. Now, you've all heard about these FBI firings, right? And let me just give you the story. This is from The Hill, okay? You've seen those FBI firings. Here's the headline in The Hill. It's being reported in every news outlet. Trump administration fires ex-acting FBI director, seen as a champion of rank and file staff. The FBI is firing the former acting director who led the Bureau at the start of the Trump administration. He was running it while Kash was going through his confirmation, and refused to turn over a list of agents who worked on the January 6th cases. Brian Driscoll's his name. He has returned to a career post at the Bureau since departing his top spot. He's been asked to leave by today, a source confirmed to The Hill. Brian Driscoll has been viewed as a... This is in The Hill I'm reading from. Brian Driscoll has been viewed as a champion of the FBI's rank-and-file staff. He declined to turn over a list of the thousands of FBI agents who worked on investigations into those who stormed the Capitol on January 6th. And it goes on about that a little bit. Driscoll, in a final note to the staff shared on LinkedIn by a former FBI staffer, said he was not given a reason for his removal. Last night this is what Driscoll wrote on LinkedIn. Last night I was informed that tomorrow will be my last day at the FBI. I understand that you may have a lot of questions regarding why, for which I currently have no answers. No cause has been articulated at this time, he wrote. Please note that it has been the honor of my life to serve along each of you. Thank you for allowing me to stand on your shoulders throughout it all. Our collective sacrifices for those we serve is and will always be worth it. I regret nothing. You are my heroes, and I remain in your debt. That's what Brian Driscoll wrote on LinkedIn. Other outlets reported Thursday that Steve Jensen, the assistant director in charge of the Washington field office, was asked to leave, as was Walter Jardina, an agent who worked on a number of cases involving President Trump. Okay. Now, what I learned, and these firings, I saw this yesterday. You saw it yesterday too. And it says, okay, they're cleaning some house, getting rid of some of these Comey holdovers. It's a little different and a little more detailed than that. Brian Driscoll, the main guy there with the LinkedIn, this part here that I'm going to share with you, it's just a little bit of information, but this is the stuff that made me sick. One of them in particular, it really made me sick. Brian Driscoll, the one with the LinkedIn message, he was the acting director of the FBI while Kash was going through confirmation. And if you see him on TV, he's got kind of like curly hair. He was the commander of the SWAT team that broke into Mar-a-Lago. So not only, I think about that. So not only was he the acting director temporarily, he refused to hand over the names of the agents who worked on the J6 cases. He was the SWAT team commander from the FBI's #1 SWAT team in D.C. that led the raid on Mar-a-Lago. The other guy fired, Walter Gardenia, he arrested Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro, if you remember, I had him on the program and he talked about his arrest. They arrested him in a very humiliating way. He could see the Justice FBI building from his home. He lived so close. They came in, arrested him in his house. They put him in ankle shackles. They put him in actual shackles and threw him in John Hinckley's cell. And they made a point to let him know that. That's pretty bad, huh? So the first guy was the commander of the SWAT team that raided Mar-a-Lago. The second guy, and he was that deputy, he was the acting director. The second guy, Walter Gardenia, arrested Peter Navarro. But the other one, Christopher Meyer. Now, Christopher Meyer, they leave something out about Christopher Meyer, who was one of the others that was fired. He ran out of the Washington, D.C. office. Chris Meyer, who was also fired, ran the criminal case for Jack Smith and got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago. So one guy, and I'll tell you more about him in a second, So Chris, the first guy that was fired, Brian Driscoll, who was the temporary acting head of the FBI, he was the commander of the SWAT team that raided Mar-a-Lago. Wouldn't hand over those J6 caseworkers. Walter Gardenia was the one that arrested Peter Navarro, put him in shackles, and threw him in Hinckley's cell and made a big point of it. And this other guy, this is the part where I get goosebumps. This guy, this is insane. Chris Myers ran the criminal case for Jack Smith against Trump and got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago. And you might say, well, that's good. Well, do you know what Chris Myers has been doing for the last few months? Not only is he an FBI agent who was running the case for Jack Smith in Mar-a-Lago and got the warrant, he just coincidentally has a commercial pilot's license. And for the past few months, he's been the pilot flying Kash Patel around in Kash Patel's private FBI plane. And, he's been doing that to spy on Kash Patel. So the FBI agent running the case against Trump for Jack Smith, who got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago, has been the pilot for Kash Patel's private FBI plane the last few months. Seeing everyone he talks to, listening in on all his conversations, befriending him and getting to know him, and doing what? Gathering information. Do you know how much courage it took for Kash Patel and Bongino to fire these guys? There's some that are saying that they were trying to intimidate Kash not to do the firings because this guy has been listening in on his phone conversations and knows everyone he's been talking to and about what the past few months. That is some, I can't say the S word, but it's deep, you know what, state. I mean, this is so deep. That is so scary to me. And these very bad guys who were, I don't know another word to use, another phrase to use. This was Jack Smith's team. This was Jack Smith's, his henchmen at the FBI that were the FBI agents working for Jack Smith against all these things against President Trump. That's who these guys were. And when I learned that about 2 hours ago, I'm sitting in my living room and I'm looking at this. And it just scared the living, you know what, out of me. If you're on hold, hang in there. And it is open phones on Friday, open Mega Mike Friday. You can call in about any and everything on your mind. But what are your thoughts on what I just shared? Could you imagine? I wonder how long Kash Patel is known, who was the guy who was flying this plane. Now we know why Dan Bongino was sweating on television with Bartiromo. They're finding out things, and think about it. What do they know that we haven't learned about yet? And I got to tell you, I'm thinking about this guy, the FBI agent who was running the case against Trump for Jack Smith that got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago is the pilot on, well, he's been fired, but was flying Kash Patel around on his private FBI plane these many months. That's when I got sick to my stomach with that part. And I'm still a little sick to my stomach. I want to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. If you're on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back. Pretty frightening, guys. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Frank from West Palm. How you doing here?
All right,
Brian,
Frank.
you were absolutely correct. LaPorta Roofing was amazingly phenomenal. They just completed my roof last week, and LaPorta Roofing was superb in all ways imaginable when installing the new roof on my residence. Tom LaPorta meticulously spearheaded the entire project from inception through to the finalization of the assignment. Tom handled all the paperwork involving city permits, inspectors, and my community HOA. He was always available, ensuring me that he had my back in all phases of the project. Additionally, Tom, Scott, and Dan, and the entire crew were very well organized with the plan, consistent with all policies and procedures, and craftsmanship was exemplary in all stages of the design execution. Tom, Scott, and Dan maintained continual contact with me, the homeowner, asking if there were any questions I had or anything further I needed. LaPorta Roofing is, in every respect, a stellar, 5-star, AAA, family-owned company that is a reliable, peace-of-mind roofing organization. These guys are spot on with regards to perfection, and they demand it. I remain mesmerized upon the completion of the job. My roof is a masterpiece. And one last thing before I forget, they were the least expensive quote that I received out of 4 quotes for roofing. I thank Tom LaPorta Roofing for all that they do.
Wow, Frank. Well, thanks so much. Tom LaPorta at LaPorta Roofing. He covers both the east and west coast of Florida and everywhere in between. He works with every type of structure, residential, commercial, municipal, and he works with every type of roofing material. Also, don't forget, Tom LaPorta will never sell you a roof you do not need. If you need just a simple repair, he'll do it. He can also handle the job of any size, whether it's a single-family home or an HOA with over 200 units. Give him a call. This number rings directly to Tom LaPorta's cell phone, 954-604-4602. 954-604-4602. And online, LaPortaRoofing.com. Frank, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Brian. You have a wonderful day.
All right, we'll be back live in just about 30, 40 seconds. I mean, my goodness. You know, you got to wonder, when did Kash Patel know who was flying his plane? I'd fly commercial before I'd fly on that plane if I were him. Oh, my goodness. They're spying on Kash. That's what they were doing, you know. All right, stand by. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. Okay, I'm going to go right to the phones. I'm not going to recap what I just went over the last 30 minutes, but I will recap it later. I don't know when Kash Patel knew about this guy and who he was that was flying his plane. But I would have been flying commercial. I wouldn't have been flying on that plane if I was Kash Patel. Would you? Heck no. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Hey, Richie.
It's Richie.
Heavy-duty stuff, man.
The word, yeah. I'm gonna give you my take on this, okay? Listen, I knew the form, and this is where we're going. The foreman of the jury in the Falcone Salmaguda case in Miami years ago with the narcotics.
Hold on. Let me answer all my lines that are coming in. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
They went to try, and the foreman of the jury was bribed by the drug cartel. Now, How much does an FBI agent make? And this is Pam Bondi yesterday, by the way, came out. I'm not sound like I'm going all over the place, but I'm not. She came out. She said they doubled the bounty on Maduro because of the guns, the drug trafficking through Colombia, and all the cocaine coming into the United States, and he's directly responsible.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why would an FBI agent, unless he's taking money?
No, see, this is what you don't get. This is what you don't get with the FBI. You know, remember the X-Files? Okay, Mulder and
I never watched that.
the X-Files. Remember, it was a show in the 90s, and Scully and Mulder were FBI agents, and the main theme of the show was who's the secret government, right? That there was a secret government, and who's the secret. And the reality is, these guys aren't bribed, Richie. They're the FBI are the secret government, and they are a brotherhood, a fraternity, and they're not like the guy on the jury that got bribed. They're it's a legacy organization. Most of the people in it are at this level are recruited or born into it. It's almost like a secret society. They're not bribing. They're part of this corrupt organization.
Maybe I'm using the wrong word. I sort of agree with you 100% with that. But let me ask you a question. You honestly think? I personally think that deep state, whoever it may be, has to do with letting in all this drugs and everything with the drug people.
Of course. Now, this thing with, I want to get back to what I'm talking about, not what you want to talk about, Richie. I'm sorry, but I know it's open phones. But the thing about these guys that got fired, including the guy that was Jack Smith's case, running the case and got the warrant for being his pilot. What they were doing, they were running a surveillance operation on Kash Patel and Bongino. While Kash has been the director, they've been this coup we're talking about, how it's an ongoing thing. They were running this was a surveillance operation. They were running on Kash and Bongino. This is why Bongino was sweating on TV. Imagine what they know that we don't know about yet. And
Bongino also.
Yeah.
Bongino said, actually, it's not as only we saw him sweating. But he actually said he saw things that have scared him to death. It takes a lot to scare
this. And I'm gonna tell you this. This scared me this morning, and I'm sitting here. It's 4:30 in the morning. I'm going over this. Someone sent this to me. Okay, and it's a very credible source. And I'm sitting in my living room going through this at 4:30 in the morning, and I that's when I'm at my best. Right, I'm the most alert, the most awake. My reading comprehension is at its best early in the morning. That's my show prep time. Yeah. And I was so upset, I couldn't get the names and everything straight. So I took out my computer. I typed it. I never make notes. I typed up the names and who was who because I was so upset. And I was thinking, should I talk about this on the air? This is pretty scary stuff. And they're saying that they were kind of like blackmailing Kash Patel not to do these firings because I guess they picked up some things, you know.
This is so. There's probably even more.
Well, I'll tell you, there's been last week. Oh yeah, keep in mind this guy was the FBI agent who was leading the case against Trump, working for Jack Smith, who got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago, was Kash Patel's private pilot on his FBI plane since he's been FBI director. So he's heard every conversation and every interaction. Last week or the week before, there was this nonsense thing that started on social media. You know, Kash Patel's beautiful country singing girlfriend. You ever see her?
Yeah.
Okay, she's a knockout. She looks like a model. Oh yeah, you'll look her up when you're done talking. She looks like a model. She's a country singer. She's surprisingly, she's a Jew. And I say surprisingly, I don't know any Jews in the country music, okay? And there was this, how many Jews are in the country western music? And she's a singer. But last week and the week before, there was this online narrative going that she was a spy for Israel. She was Mossad, spying on Kash. And she even went on Megyn Kelly's show to say, I'm not a Jewish spy, I'm not an Israeli spy, I'm not Mossad. And that's what came out. I think that's probably from this operation they were running on Kash because they knew the firings were coming. So they gave him a little warning with the girlfriend. Don't fire us.
Stuff. make up.
Yeah.
They can make up stuff. I mean, so can you? The last thing I'm going to say to you, can you imagine President Trump knowing all this now, and he's still functioning better than any president we've ever had with under pressure like this?
Yeah.
These people are just one nasty story after the other that they make up now. They don't have anything on them. They would have got but so they'll make it up. And it's disgusting. It's really disgusting. It is treason, and it is a coup.
This is dark, deep state. So what these guys were, I mean, there's no doubt this guy ending up as Kash's. I want to find out more information on how he got transferred from being an FBI senior agent in charge guy to being the pilot on Kash's private plane, because obviously they're running an op. So is that who made that decision? It could have been this Brian Driscoll character, but was this is this treason what they were doing? It's certainly illegal. There's no doubt they were running a surveillance operation on Kash, right? That had to be what that was.
Who do you trust?
Donald Trump.
Yeah, that's it. That's what comes down to that. And who can he trust? Nobody.
Melania.
Except maybe his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Have a great morning, Brian.
All right, take care. Well, President Trump can trust me. All right, let's go. Oh, sorry, wrong line. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning. How you doing? This is Maria.
Hey, Maria.
Florida.
Hey, what's up, Maria?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
Yeah, I heard this. I heard the same thing too, and it's so disgusting, man. It's just sad, and I'm so happy President Trump fired him, because I mean these people spying and leaking stuff, and I know the last couple of weeks I've been hearing like leaks coming out from the FBI. Not really, nobody been really talking about it, but I've been hearing it through other podcasts that they were saying that the FBI leaking again, they're leaking to the media, and I was like, what is going on in the FBI? Why can't they just clean these people out?
Mm-hmm.
And just like you said, yeah, it's sad.
Yeah,
it's so bad.
I'm not saddened by it. I'm sick. It's scary to me.
Yeah, it is.
It's
very
scary. It's not sad. It's when I say that I'm physically ill, I'm not being figurative. I really am sick to my stomach. I am really have an upset stomach over this. It's so scary and sick and twisted.
Yeah, it's like the people, like I was saying before, the people that voted for Trump, and we all voted for Trump. I have never been a fan of the Democrat. I voted for the Democrat one time, and that was the biggest mistake of my life, and that was in 1990. Mm-hmm. I never voted for the Democrats since then. Now, I've been a Democrat for a while, but in 2004, I decided that I was going to join and be a Republican. I've been a Republican ever since then.
Good for you.
I don't play games.
Good for you.
I don't mess with Democrats. They're crooked. They're evil. And it taunted my family. It taunted my friends around me. Mm-hmm. And now I have to go to a church and I have to listen to lies all the time. I'm about to make a change of that, because I can't listen to lies anymore. Not when they're talking about my great president, Donald J. Trump. No.
I don't even know why in church they're talking about politics. And when I go to church, they don't talk about presidents when I go to church.
Well, in this church they do. I mean, it's totally different. People don't even know how sad it is that you have to be around people that keep spreading lies or listen to lies, and then they spread it in the in foundations like that, and it's not good.
No, it's not. Hey, listen, thank you for the call, Maria. Yeah. Take care. If you're on hold, stand by. Now, it is open phones on Friday, open Mega Mike Friday. You're welcome to call in about any and everything you have on your mind. When we get back, I'll go back to the phones. I'll recap this story and I'll capsulize Reader's Digest version after the top of the hour for those that are just tuning in and missed the beginning. When we get back. Our number is 888-465-2631. I want to invite all of you on our 10th annual MAGA cruise. We're leaving in March on the Celebrity Beyond, which is a luxury cruise ship. We've got incredibly low prices. This is our 10th annual Steve Kane, Brian Craig MAGA Cruise, and it's pretty awesome. We have a great MAGA group. Some of my best friends in the world are people that have come on our MAGA cruise, and our MAGA cruise family gets bigger each and every year. We have dinner together every night. We have all kinds of activities on board the ship together. In fact, those of you that have been on past cruises, Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot, he's the travel agent that handles all of our cruises. We're doing some very exciting things that we've never done before on board for when we're not in a port of call. We have incredible shore excursions planned. We have one shore excursion I can't announce yet that, to me, I think might be the most exciting shore excursion we've ever done. I'm so excited about it. I'll touch base with Ian because I'm not sure. I can't tell you what it is yet. And when I can tell you, I'm going to let him tell you because it's so beautiful, so spectacular. Ian from Cruise and Travel Depot worked so hard to get this particular shore excursion. It's not our only excursion, but this one is one that is just going to be one of those days you remember forever for the rest of your life. And I want him to make the announcement because he put all the hard work in and he can give you the details better than I can. So listen, give Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot a call. If you get his voicemail, leave your name and number. He will call you back. And join us on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise, 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We'll be right back. See the delay? Listen.
Excursion, but this one is
See, I'm still talking on the radio. This is the monitor from the radio station.
Forever for the rest of your life, and I want him to make the announcement because he put all the hard work in, and he can give you the details better than I can. So listen, give Ian at Cruise and Travel Depot a call.
Long delay, huh?
Leave your name and number. He will call you back, and join us on our 10th annual MAGA Cruise. 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. We'll be right back.
Yeah. So how long was that delay? I didn't count how long, but it's so when people use words we can't use, we have to hit the dump button. You can see we have a very long delay. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. I'll take, if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take the calls when we get back, and then I'll do a brief recap after the top of the hour. But is that scary to you guys too? It's about 30-second delay, yeah. And then there's a second delay because that's the monitor. That's live in the studio. That's not the on-air delay. So that's the delay between me and the radio station. So then there's another delay before it goes out over the air. Jane Doe 703, new subscriber, welcome. Welcome, welcome. Don just subscribed. Welcome, Don, to the program. So when Mike, the board up at the radio station, he keeps track of all this stuff. He'll text me and tell me what time we're coming back from the break exactly. On my clock and his clock are synced up, and he's got to time that all with that huge delay. So, yeah. So he gives me a time. You see me looking at my phone all the time. That's me talking to Mike. And he told me what time to start talking into the mic. And he's got to coordinate with the delay. And the breaks are all different because the length of the break depends on the length of the commercials in that break or the weather or the traffic. So it's a lot of coordination. apologize. All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. I'm just going to go to the phones, and I'll do a recap after the top of the hour. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lou, Western Pennsylvania.
Hey, what's up?
And calling to celebrate with you our Department of Justice and how they're staying right on track and accomplishing the things that President Trump wants.
Yeah. I mean, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino deserve medals for standing up to these guys. These are some really evil people. They're so evil, they don't even know they're evil. They think they're the patriots. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, you're exactly right there. And since it's MAGA Mike Friday, I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How is the news, Brian, determined? And second part, who gets to determine the news that we see and hear each day?
Well, it depends. You talking about like the mainstream media?
Yes, mainly them, because they are a definite influence in the way things have gone and why we have to respond the way we do.
To me, it would seem that the deep state determines what the mainstream media cover and don't cover and how they cover it. It's like Pravda in the days of the Soviet Union. It's totally state-controlled media. That's not a catchphrase. It's obviously true. Like, I give an example. This story that I have this morning is the biggest story in America. It's one of the biggest political scandals in history. It'd be the biggest if it wasn't for this Obama coup, of which this is a part of. But you understand what I mean? And it's not even in the mainstream news. They're not even covering it. And they may never cover it.
Boy, yes, they are a powerful group. So they tell the people at ABC and NBC, you're going to say this.
Yeah, this is the thing. So back when Obama was president, it might have been Breitbart, but it may not have been. One of the conservative news outlets like Breitbart, they had this diagram, and it was all these people that are on the air or behind the scenes at the different mainstream media like ABC, NBC, CBS News, CNN, MSNBC. And then they had lines drawn to who they were related to in the Obama administration. And sometimes it's brothers, sisters, husbands, wives, cousins, nieces, nephews, college roommates, spouses. You understand what I mean? It's very incestuous. And you just don't know it because the names, the last names aren't the same all the time, so you just don't know it.
Well, so we could be getting this from somebody that knew somebody that was part of something years ago.
Well, I was watching. I couldn't believe this. I was watching CNN about a year ago, and they had a new pundit on. And they just said who she was. She's her great-grandfather was Herbert Hoover. And they just mentioned it in passing. See, that's how deep the permanent Washington class is. Even Herbert Hoover's family still have connections to have jobs on, the cable news as a pundit. It's as like I told as I was talking to Richie, these aren't people that are bribed. It's a secret society of the ruling elite, the nobility class. And I'm going to share something I learned about Tucker Carlson's family a little later. That kind of illustrates what I'm talking about, and I'll probably do it in the next hour, so don't miss it. It involves his dad, and it's not that his dad was in the CIA. We know that, but I found something else out about Tucker's dad, that I'll share in the next hour. But that's what it is. They're a ruling elite, and President Trump's not a part of the ruling elite.
Okay, I'll keep in touch and I'll keep listening.
All right, you're a good caller. Thanks for calling. All right, take care. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's Lisa who loves Boca.
Hey, Lisa.
Good morning. I wrote down a few things to be quick. It's going to affect the whistleblowers. We should seize their phones. Comey did it to President Trump on his first few days in 16 in office, giggling that he didn't know what to do, and we took advantage. He could have had any pilot, and he should have had a lie detector. These are just basics that bother me, what you have uncovered today.
Yeah.
And I'll let you go. All right?
Yeah.
And if anybody else has comments or you do, please, I worry about so much with protecting what we're trying to turn around and build. Thank you, Brian.
All right, take care.
All right,
Appreciate the call. Yeah, a nice lady. We're some nice people today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Mark from Boca.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, Brian, I heard you talking about this the other day. All of these people, they can't lock them all up.
Mm-hmm.
I think they should just have the equivalent of a dishonorable discharge and take all their benefits.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it. I mean, some of that, listen, there's too many people. I mean, we can't, and it runs so deep. And one person that was fired yesterday, I forgot to mention. When I recap, I'll make sure to tell you about them when we get back. I didn't even there's one more person that was fired that has a dark connection too that I neglected to mention, and I didn't mention their name when I first went over this. But what do you think about the guy that was Jack Smith's lead FBI agent who got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago, being Kash Patel's private pilot on his FBI plane? What the heck? I mean, is that terrifying?
That's how deep it is.
It's insane.
It's horrible.
It's insane.
And by the way, Brian, on Inauguration Day, I came over to say hello to you.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you I was sitting in the back with Big Mike and his wife and another beautiful lady. That was a great day.
It was. Yeah. Were you over there? Were you over there on that side where I was sitting?
No, we were by the back door in that room.
Oh yeah, I mean we filled up Wings Plus, the whole restaurant. It was standing room only. It was amazing.
Oh, it was great to be around so many people.
Did we get to meet? Did we get to meet?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got over and said hello to you.
Oh, okay, good. I appreciate that. Good. Sometimes when we do appearances, and that one there were so many people. Sometimes when we do appearances and we're in a public place, I don't just go up to people and say, hey, I'm Brian Craig. I kind of wait until I get some acknowledgement that you know who I am. I don't want to just go up to somebody and they may not know me. And be like, okay, who the hell's Brian Craig? You know what I mean? So sometimes people get skipped, and I feel bad.
We had a great time back there. Everybody singing and clapping, and it was a beautiful day.
All right. Well, good. Thanks for coming. All right. Good call. Thanks so much. Take care.
Okay. Thanks.
All right. Take care. Yeah. All right. Well, let me take another call. What the heck? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, my name is Tina Jackson.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Tina?
I'm calling from Wisconsin.
Hey.
How come these Democrats are not going to jail? They'd be punished for what
Who
they're
says
doing?
they're not going to jail? There's right now, Pam Bondi has multiple grand juries into the Obama coup conspirators. We know one of them is here in Florida.
The last 10 years.
Well, you've got to. The process is happening. You don't just pick people up and put them in jail. It's not Russia.
It just seems so awful what they're doing.
But it's all. But don't you understand? Everything I'm sharing, they're doing it. We got the grand juries. These guys have been fired.
I know, but isn't this considered treason?
Well, that's what the grand juries are about. There's multiple. Pam Bondi has multiple grand juries going on right now.
I know, but God, look what you're showing our younger generation, how to disrespect people.
They've only been, when you look at Kash, Bongino, and Pam Bondi, how many months have they been at the Justice Department? I think things are moving actually pretty fast, considering
I'm so impressed with Trump's done in 8 months. I think I give him kudos. I mean, he's kicked ass and took names. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, I think things are going. I think things are going well and at a very fast pace. I know it doesn't seem like it, because I was
He
impatient
should be
too.
getting praise.
Yeah.
So you know that unsaid that they talk about. My husband works at a milling company,
Mm-hmm.
and they lost the contract, but it's a government contract.
Yeah.
I said, well, all that they're doing is recalibrating.
Listen, I'm out of time for the hour, but I got to run. But thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take our top of the hour break and be right back. William, thank you for that $5 super chat. Thank you very much, William. Pam Bondi needs to concentrate on Obama's Circle 2. Yeah, well, that's what the grand jury's about. It's specifically about that. It is open phones, yeah. It is open phones today. Open MAGA Mike Friday. If you're new, make sure that you subscribe. The toll-free number to call in is pinned in the live chat. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes, guys. Yeah, there was one that I left off on my list with the other ones I got to add. Hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. And I got to tell you, if you missed the first hour, you missed a lot, especially the first 30 minutes. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. I'm going to recap briefly what I opened with, and there was one person I left out. It is Open MAGA Mike Friday. It's open phones on Friday, meaning you can call in about any and everything on your mind. Show prep's up to you guys, but the big story I found out about this morning, I found out about this at about 4:30 this morning or so, 4:30 this morning. I found out about this story, and it's details on these FBI filings. Now, you may have heard Kash Patel fired some senior, longtime people at the FBI. They held various positions, and some of them are terrifying, okay? So I'm going to go through these. If you go back and listen to the first half hour of the show later, you'll get more detail from the mainstream press and everything, but I don't want to go through all that every time, at least not now. I might do it later in the show. But they fired a whole bunch of senior agents and long-term people, Kash Patel, and what I was telling you guys is I owe a big apology to Kash and Bongino, because if I were them, I would have been sweating talking to Maria Bartiromo too. I would have been too. So, okay, so the first, this list of people I'm going through are not the only ones they fired, but these are the ones that I learned these creepy things about. The first person was Brian Driscoll was fired. Now, if you see the pictures on television, he's the one with the curly hair. This guy was the acting director of the FBI while Kash Patel was going through the confirmation process. He was the commander, the guy the first guy with the curly hair was the commander of the SWAT team that broke into Mar-a-Lago. He's also the one who wouldn't hand over the names of the agents who worked on the J6 cases. That's pretty crazy. Broke into Mar-a-Lago. He was this was the top SWAT team out of the D.C. area. He was the commander of that SWAT team, the main one that came down here and broke into Mar-a-Lago. Walter Gardenia, he's the agent who arrested Peter Navarro. Peter Navarro was a political prisoner. And he didn't just arrest him, he did it in a very rough way. Peter Navarro, we had him on the show. He told us about the arrest. He could see the FBI building from his front window at his house, but they still busted into his house, cuffed him, arrested him in a very humiliating way, put him in shackles, okay? They put him in shackles and then threw him in the same cell that John Hinckley was in. That's the other one. Then there was Stephen Jensen. Now, this guy is something else. Stephen Jensen is the one I left off in the first hour, and I'll get to the best one last. Stephen Jensen, who was fired yesterday, he was the head of the FBI's domestic terrorism office. He's the one who declared the J6ers domestic terrorist. Okay? And when somebody is declared a domestic terrorist, you don't have the same rights and liberties as a regular criminal. They could take you to black sites when you're declared a terrorist. Now, the last one, and there were some others other than these, but these are the ones that I know these dark things about as of now, that I was given this information at about 4:30 this morning. The other one is Christopher Meyer. Christopher Meyer was the FBI agent in charge who ran the criminal case for Jack Smith during his investigations. And Christopher Meyer was the one that got the search warrant for the break-in of Mar-a-Lago. Well, what we found out about this guy is he also had a commercial pilot's license. And when Kash became the director, he transferred jobs. Instead of being the special agent in charge at this very important office, he became the pilot of Kash Patel's private FBI plane, and he's been flying Kash Patel around these months that he's been the FBI director. I mean, this is... And obviously, the reason he was doing that is that he was running a surveillance operation on Kash Patel. So he knows everyone, at least when Kash was flying, he knew everyone he was talking to, everyone he was talking to on the phone. He overheard all the conversations and maybe even befriended him. Now, I don't know when Kash Patel found out about this guy. I don't know if he knew all along or found out recently. But this is some deep, dark state stuff. All right, to the phones we go. And I got a lot of other things to cover on the program today that I'm going to try to get to as we go on. But I'll take some of your calls, and it is Open Phones on Friday, Open MAGA Mike Friday. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Hey, Doug.
You know, as Open Line Friday is going to bring something up, but this is way too important, man, what you're talking about. You know, you hear about the deep state, and you hear about the swamp. You don't realize, now you realize how deep and dangerous it is, man. These people are all risking their life because these people are not just trying to do stuff. They're anything. I mean, look at all the people who went against the Clintons. They disappeared.
So now we know why they both look so terrified on that Bartiromo interview on Fox.
Sure, yeah.
I would be terrified too. I'd be sweating as well. I mean, when I saw this at like 4:30 this morning, it was scary to me. This is scary stuff.
Yeah, I would think you're probably on the list of the people.
I appreciate that. Thanks a lot. You try to make me feel better or terrify me more?
No. It's a dangerous world we're in. These people.
Oh my goodness!
To clean this up, this is going to take a long time. Although I mean, the whole society is who you know. It's all rigged up. It's going to take a long time to fix this because, man, and the government in particular is doing stuff that they ought to be in jail. And if they go to jail, they deserve it. But there's going to be the jails have to be build more jails. Because there aren't enough
jails. There aren't enough. Hey, Doug, I appreciate the call. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, sir. How are you?
All right.
My name is Thomas from West Palm.
Yep.
Hey, can you hear me?
I can. You're on the air, Thomas.
All right, buddy. Hey, so I've wanted to call in a few times. You've talked a lot about the FBI and CIA, whatnot. And let me back up. Just say that I just started becoming a casual listener about, 6-7 months ago. I happened to stumble upon your show here when you came on. Anyhow,
welcome.
So I married a girl from. Well, thank you. So I married a girl from the South, and so she's got some relatives down in Louisiana way, and also let me just say that this really doesn't have to do with anything relevant.
It's Open Phones today. It's Open Phones on Friday, so that's okay.
But it dogpiles on the whole FBI going deep state and all that good stuff. Anyhow, so my wife's related to some folks down in Louisiana, and they kind of a proper family with some pull around in the New Orleans area. Anyhow, so one of the uncles is a guy by the name of Ed Haggerty. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Ed Haggerty, is he an actor? Or I know that name.
He was.
I know that name.
Ed Haggerty was a judge in the Jim Garrison trial for the JFK.
Yeah, okay. I thought I heard the name. Yeah, the name's familiar. Yeah, okay.
So it's pretty well known around the family. And I've been married to this girl for 20 years now and spent plenty of Thanksgivings and Christmases in New Orleans. And it's pretty well known that the trial and Ed Haggerty were directed, or at least that the FBI meddled in that case.
Absolutely.
Significantly.
They were behind. They were involved in the assassination. George W. Bush, his dad, Bush 1, Bush 41, H.W. Bush, the first President Bush, was an FBI agent at the time. He was in Dallas that day.
Oh wow!
He was in Dallas. With the as an FBI agent the day that Kennedy was killed. Yeah.
Well, there you go. But I've always found it very, that's my like kind of personal connection to that whole deep state.
Yeah, and it's scary. It's deep, and it didn't end in the '60s. It's ongoing. It didn't end with the death of Hoover.
So I always tell people, movies are loosely based off this kind of thing. So if you don't think this is happening, you're super naive and have your head in front.
Yeah,
so,
you're right. Yeah. Yeah.
But anyhow, so that's my
All right.
2 cents.
I appreciate the call. Thanks so much, and welcome to the show as a new listener.
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right, take care. Well, let me take another call before we break. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning, Brian. It's Lenny.
Hey, Lenny.
From Coconut Creek.
What's up, Lenny?
Listen, man. Everything you're talking about is just bringing to light how deep the swamp is. My wife and I moved down to Florida 5 years ago, and we've been listening to you ever since.
Oh, thank you.
It's just amazing what is finally coming to light, and what you've spoken just about today is it's scary. It's not so much that it's scary, but how much has gone on for so long. And fortunately, this current administration, everybody is going crazy.
Here's what's this is what's happening though. They're rounding these people up. We got the grand juries. These guys have been fired. Lenny, I'm late for the break, but thanks so much. And but justice is here. And it's all happening. All right, take care. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. If you're a Medicare recipient or about to turn 65, listen up. I want to talk to you about Medicare. Medicare, it's confusing. That's done on purpose, right? You go online, what do you find? More confusion. A lot of people, they try to go it alone, or they deal with someone who doesn't really know what they're talking about, and what happens? It ends up costing them thousands of dollars sometimes each year. And also, they find out maybe their doctors or the medications, they might not be covered either. That's where Chapter comes in. Chapter is the only national Medicare advisor that compares all of the over 24,000 plans out there for you. They'll find the one that's right for you and your budget. And no matter where you are in the United States, Chapter can help. You're going to get answers, you're going to get them fast, and you're going to get them for free. So whether you're on Medicare right now or turning 65 soon, give Chapter a call. 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. The number's also in the description of the episode. You're going to talk to a real person. They're going to walk you through everything step by step. No gimmicks, just real help. Because the right plan, it can save you thousands. Again, the number 805-754-3033. 805-754-3033. Get your Medicare questions answered free. 805-754-3033. 3033. Your health and your wallet will thank you. All right, we'll be back on the air shortly, guys. By the way, that number for chapter is in the description of the video. We'll be back live on the air in about a minute. If you're on hold, hang in there. I'm going to share something when we get back. All right, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. We've been breaking some really huge and frightening news throughout the day. Before we get back to the phones, a couple things. First, I want to tell you about the My Pillow, My Slipper offer with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E, and I got a major update on this. Okay, now the My Pillow, My Slippers, the normal price is $149.98. 2 cents short of $150. That's what I paid for mine. Right now, there's an exclusive offer for our listeners that you can get them for $110 off. That's right, just for $39.98. Pretty good deal, less than $40. $39.98. That's $110 off the My Pillow, My Slippers with our promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. And I was telling you guys earlier in the week, order now before they run out of your size. If you look online, they've been running out of sizes for the men mostly. I'm going to give you the phone number to call. Even if you go online and see that they're out of your size, call the number. That may not be the case. I'm going to give you the number. This special will not last long, and I don't even know if it's going to be here when I rejoin you guys Monday morning because they are running out of sizes. But when you call, they get a better look at the inventory than you personally will get on the website. So here's the number to call. Use our promo code Kane. $110 off the My Pillow, My Slippers. 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879. That's 1-800-716-4879. Promo code Kane. Again, the My Pillow, My Slippers, $110 off. Just $39.98. Call that number. Okay, if you're on hold, stand by. So I was talking about these deep state revelations from these firings of Kash Patel and Bongino at the FBI yesterday. I came across something, and I wanted to share this. It's the father of Tucker Carlson, Richard Carlson. Now, Tucker Carlson interviewed Candace Owens last week, and he said, it's the first time I heard him say it, he said his dad was in the CIA, but he did not know until his dad died in March, which I don't believe Tucker. I think Tucker always knew his dad was in the CIA. That's why he tried to join, and maybe he did. I don't know. But he did say, Tucker himself said last week during his Candace Owens interview that his dad was in the CIA. And I came across this old interview with Tucker Carlson's dad, Richard Carlson. He was being interviewed by the late Brian Lamb. Remember Brian Lamb? And he dropped something. And when you look at everything, it's so interesting. You know, as you get older and you see things happening, you get this perspective that you didn't have before. And I learned something about Tucker Carlson's dad that just shocked me. It fits into what I'm talking about with this deep state coup against the president we've been covering today. But I want to share this with you and then tell you what I'm suspecting after I heard this. Okay, so this is Tucker Carlson's dad, who Tucker said last week was in the CIA, being interviewed by the late Brian Lamb, who's no longer with us.
Woolsey, anyway, is a friend of Scooter's. I've been a friend of Scooter's.
Now, Scooter is Scooter Libby, who was the chief of staff for Dick Cheney when he was vice president?
Woolsey, anyway, is a friend of Scooter's. I've been a friend of Scooter's for years. Scooter Libby is a person, in my view, of great integrity and character. He was my lawyer at one time before he went into the government. He and Leonard Garment were partners in a law firm, Deckert, Price, and Rhodes. And
former counsel to Richard Nixon,
yeah,
Leonard Garment.
Yes, Leonard, a great guy, in my view, and a good friend of mine. And that's how I met Scooter, through Leonard.
Well, keep listening.
Actually, Scooter represented me. This is interesting. I've never mentioned this because nobody ever asked me, but I represented Monica Lewinsky in her book deals. I was her book agent.
Okay, now here's here's where it gets interesting, and then I'll share my theory about this. So this is Tucker Carlson's dad, who a week ago, Tucker Carlson said his dad was in the CIA. Tucker Carlson's dad in this interview says that he was Monica Lewinsky's book agent.
Actually, Scooter represented me. This is interesting. I've never mentioned this because nobody ever asked me, but I represented Monica Lewinsky in her book deals. I was her book agent, and I sold the book, my storybook. Anyway, I did. And I did a couple of other things for her having to do with representing her. Not a press representation. I stayed out of the press, but sort of a quasi-legal representation.
Of course he stayed out of the press. He's in the CIA. He was doing stuff behind the scenes. CIA guy can't be the front man with Lewinsky, right? But he got her book deal.
And when I drew up the contract with Monica, it was Scooter Libby who drew it up for me. So, I mean, nothing wrong with that.
How did you get into that?
Now again, Scooter Libby was Dick Cheney's chief of staff when he was vice president. So, all right. So back to Tucker's dad. So Brian Lamb's like, how did this happen?
Up for me. So, I mean, nothing wrong with that.
How did you get into that?
Well, Monica's mother married. We talk about coincidences. Married a fellow who had been Peter Strauss, who had been director of the Voice of America in the Carter administration. Peter Strauss, fine guy from New York. Owned Strauss Communications, which had radio stations and newspapers. And Monica's mother, after the scandal broke, within about 6 or 7 months, that summer, I didn't know Monica's mother, and I didn't know Monica, but I knew Peter Strauss. Peter Strauss' wife, Ellen Sulzberger, had died 2 or 3 years before. Peter's older, and Peter married Monica's mother. And then Peter called me and said, that summer, the summer of the scandal had broken around December, as I remember, called me and asked me if I would come to New York and talk to Monica, because they were trying to find ways that Monica could legitimately, at a minimal amount of embarrassment, make money to help pay for her legal fees. And I could see what the problem was, because Peter has children, grown children. Peter was then, 75. And the fact that she had these enormous fees, hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably was difficult with his family, I would imagine, only guessing at that. And her father, who's a physician in Los Angeles, was not forthcoming.
Okay, so it goes on. Okay, I'm calling BS on the rest of the story. So everything that I shared in the first hour of the program and at the top of the hour of the second hour here about this deep state group that Kash Patel just fired at the FBI yesterday. This interview, people don't remember, but Monica Lewinsky and that story was one of the biggest stories in the history of this country. The entire country stopped for 2 years or more just for that Lewinsky story. It's impossible to describe how big of a story that was. It consumed the nation, okay? And Tucker Carlson's dad, who was in the CIA, got her the book deal. Was Scooter Libby, Dick Cheney's chief of staff. And this is what I'm starting to realize. And I got a whole new theory about the whole Monica Lewinsky scandal. And I looked at the clock. I'm a minute late for the break. So I'm going to tell you about it after the break. If you're on hold, stand by. But this is huge. I'll recap just in a few seconds Tucker's dad here, then tell you my new thoughts. I want to talk about Coastal Weight Loss Secret, though. I'm wearing the new belt my wife got me. My wife got me this really nice Trump belt. My other belt it just doesn't fit anymore. I've added so many holes in my other belt that it's going around my body a second time, okay, because I've lost so many inches on my waist thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. And I'm wearing this new belt that my wife got me, this Trump belt, and it fits like a belt's supposed to fit. I didn't, the holes are the right number of holes, and it fits, and it goes in the loop that it's supposed to go into on my pants, and it's nice. And another thing is, some of this early week, it's nice to be wearing belts again. I had not been wearing belts for the last few years because I gained enough weight. My body was holding my pants up. And also, not only am I wearing a belt, I'm doing something I also haven't done in a long, long time, years. I have my shirt tucked. I'm wearing a T-shirt. I got an Alligator Alcatraz T-shirt on, and it's tucked in. I've got it tucked in. I'm wearing a belt. Before Coastal Weight Loss Secret, I lost all this weight. I didn't want to tuck my shirt in because I was getting a belly. So I thought if I wore my shirt untucked, it would hide my belly a little bit, which it probably didn't. But now my shirt's tucked in. I'm thin. I got a belt on. My stomach's flat. It's absolutely amazing. Give Coastal Weight Loss Secret a call. Just like I did, you can lose the weight, and it's easy. 561-247-6300. 561-247-6300. That's 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightlosssecret.com. We'll be right back. We'll be back in just a couple minutes, guys. In about a minute, we'll be back. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some calls, but I'm going to finish up with Tucker's dad. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. If you're on hold, stand by. It is open phones on Friday, open manga mic Friday. Any and everything on your mind's fair game on Friday's show. The show prep is up to you guys in the audience. However, I broke some really big news here at the top of the show that we've been discussing with the Kash Patel, Dan Bongino firings, which were just crazy. I will for those who missed it, I will recap it later in the hour. But let me finish up with Tucker Carlson's dad, okay? I would have waited till after the bottom of the hour. I wasn't looking at the clock. I would have taken some calls and not started it before the bottom if I'd have realized what time it was. I lost track of time. Okay, so Tucker Carlson's dad, I played a bit of an interview that he gave with Brian Lamb many years ago. Tucker Carlson, a week ago, interviewed Candace Owens. And when Tucker was interviewing Candace Owens, I mentioned that because if you go back to that interview, you'll hear a big discussion about it. Tucker Carlson said that his dad was in the CIA. He didn't know what he said till his dad died this past March. I don't believe Tucker on that, but he confirmed what people have said for a while, that his dad was in the CIA. So in this interview, his dad at the time is with the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He's being interviewed by Brian Lamb, who was with C-SPAN. And he drops, Tucker's dad drops that he had a contact with Monica Lewinsky, and he got Monica Lewinsky her book deal. And he worked behind the scenes, and the deal and everything was written up by Scooter Libby, Dick Cheney's chief of staff when he became vice president. And this is what now this is what I'm thinking about Monica Lewinsky. That story was so big, I can't even describe how big of a story it was. It totally paralyzed the Clinton presidency. They didn't have a press conference for 2 years, and it was the biggest story ever. And it really was. It was as big as the O.J. Simpson trial, and maybe even bigger. She was the most famous woman in the world. Those that didn't live through it, you may say, what's the big deal? She had little sex with the press. It was the biggest story. Whatever the biggest story you've experienced, it's not even close to it. And now I'm starting, after this revelation that I broke this morning about Kash Patel and these FBI agents he fired and who they were and what they did to President Trump, is it possible that Monica Lewinsky was a honeypot who set up Bill Clinton? And was sent in to set him up by, we got Tucker's dad here with the CIA. I know that sounds crazy, but the honeypot is a tactic that they use. Was she a honeypot? And, the Clintons today, back then, they were not part of the deep state. He was president, but they weren't part of the deep state. In fact, the Lewinsky investigation, the Bill Clinton investigations, they weren't investigating that he had sex at the White House. It was the Whitewater investigation, which was this land deal in Arkansas where they invested 10 cents and made like over $100,000. Remember that? And it was the FBI that was behind that investigation of Whitewater. Ken Starr, who was the special counsel investigating the Whitewater case, he had FBI agents working with him, and a future Supreme Court Justice, Justice Kavanaugh, was one of the attorneys working for Ken Starr on that team. And they stumbled into, so goes the legend, Monica Lewinsky and got her on a perjury trap, and that's how they did it. But now I'm starting to think, maybe she was working for them all along. And was a honeypot to get Bill Clinton under control, which worked. And now look at the Clintons. They're deep staters through and through now. And he was an easy guy to set up with a honeypot because he had all those problems. So you got Scooter Libby and Tucker Carlson's dad. We know Tucker Carlson's dad was in the CIA, according to Tucker. Worked out the book deal for Lewinsky? Nah. There's no coincidences. You put that together with this story I broke about Kash and these guys today, it all starts to fit together, doesn't it? All right, let's go back to the phones. 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Harlem.
Hey, Renee.
Hey, I'm looking at you with that T-shirt on.
Alligator Alcatraz. You haven't seen the back of it. You should see the back.
You're really proud of that, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
You're proud of the history of your state, of what they used to do to our children?
No, I'm not proud of when the Democrat Jim Crow era was in Florida. No.
Yeah, Dixiecrats. Those are your people.
No, they're not my people. I'm not a native Floridian. I moved here. I'm from Ohio.
Okay. But those Dixiecrats, do you think they would have done the same thing?
So let me get this straight. Anyone who lives in Florida is responsible for what racist Democrats did in the 1960s? I don't get that. Does that mean as a black man you're responsible for every black man in America who does a crime? What does that mean, Renee? I mean, what you just said. I mean, it is open phones, but you've been on hold for 23 minutes, and that's what you were on hold. That's what you were on hold for.
Isn't that what you're doing to Zoran Mandani?
Who?
Isn't that the same thing you're doing to Zoran Mandani?
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I know. You should practice, Brianne. You should try pronouncing people's names.
I don't know who that is.
Help.
Who is that?
Zoran Mandani is running for mayor, you idiot.
Oh, you mean Zohan.
Oh, yeah. He's got an R in the middle of his name. Zoran Mandani.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Were you out of material?
You
out of material?
Right, They wouldn't call you such a racist.
Uh-huh. Who's they? You?
Everybody.
Uh-huh. Everybody.
That's the reason why, that's the reason why
you have it's really amazing to me how limited your vocabulary is. You have a very limited vocabulary. All you can do is, excuse me, I'm speaking. All right, you're on hold. All you can do is, in a few different ways, is call someone a racist. Very limited vocabulary. All you can do is call people racist with a few catchphrases that you have. That's about it. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Shut the fuck up.
No, there we go. First dump of the day. And do you know, this is an interesting thing. First dump of the day, Mike. That person was on hold for 1 hour and 24 minutes. That's right. They were on hold for 1 hour and 24 minutes. And they held for that. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. But, having to hit the dump button for them, it gave me a good opportunity to do a spot, because now it's time for a spot. Hold on, there we go. Okay, I want to talk about Sloman's and the free doorbell camera offer. This is a very limited time offer, guys. I'm giving you a heads up here. Take advantage of this. You can get a doorbell camera for free that connects directly to your cell phone with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Sloman's are also going to give you a customized home security system and professional installation when you use their low-cost central station monitoring. You're going to get an LED touchscreen, a motion detector, 10 contacts, a lifetime warranty, and a backup battery. Okay? Plus, you'll get a free doorbell camera with the installation of your Sloman Shield. Give them a call. 1-833-283-5050. 1-833-283-5050. That's 833-283-5050. I'm Brian Craig. It's the Steve Kane Show. Back with more of your calls after this. All right, we're back. I'm Brian. Back to the phones. We've covered quite a bit today. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Am I coming in okay?
Yes.
Hey, Brian. Good morning. IB in Broward.
Hey, IB.
You know, Rush and you and we have talked about the old playbook from the Democrat.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm still here.
Hold on. That's weird.
Wow, what's happening?
Am I on, Brian?
Yeah, you're on. You can't hear me.
Okay, let me do this.
What? Oh,
I can hear you, but I'm hearing you double. I think that's better.
Okay.
I've been listening to this show for quite a while before I started coming in because I always like to sit back and listen to opinions and see what questions will be asked. You know, as if I would ask that question, or Brian would sometimes give me an answer before I even ask the question, and that's why I reserve myself when it comes to Pam Bondi, Bongino, and Kash. I reserve myself because we don't know what's going down, okay? This gigantic web has been woven, and it's going to take time to cut those or de-string them, so to speak. And we are now just getting right underneath the surface of the creation of that web, starting with Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton in the dossier.
Yep.
But we got to go to square one. FISA is square one. Without the first three warrants, we wouldn't have been in this situation that we're in. However, it took that to happen for our eyes to be opened to see what's going on behind the scenes, and it's better that it did happen and that we do know, and now we can deconstruct this web that has been woven. So, kudos to my boy. Like I said, Dan Bongino will not disappoint himself. I told you guys a month ago, and I reserved my comment, being positive or negative. I just didn't say anything. Here we are.
Well, yeah, but listen, I do a talk show and a podcast and all this stuff. I can't keep silent until everything's reserved. I'll have to turn it into a history show. We talk about news as it's happening, but and things develop sometimes, and you get a different perspective. Like this thing I just shared about Lewinsky with the CIA and Tucker Carlson. I mean, that was crazy. But this, I'm going to recap in a little bit. Steve will be joining us after the top, so I'm going to recap who these guys are at the FBI and how scary it was. But the coup has never ended. And as we could see with what Kash Patel and Bongino have been dealing with, and it took them a lot of guts to fire these guys. It was a big risk for them to fire these guys.
Between the two of them, Patel having the FBI background and the ins and outs of how it works, and Bongino having the ins and outs of the Secret Service, together they both have hidden whistleblowers that have not come forward yet. Once we get rid of this top layer skim of the milk, then we're going to have people being more free, feeling more open to come out and talk about what's going on. And then we're going to further catch the people that is underneath, put them in jail, which will deter people from the future. Even if we don't get the big guys, they're going to be scorned. Their name will be now shamed. And that can sometimes be better than putting them in jail for 10 years or 15 years because they'll have to walk around with that shame on their shoulders for the rest of their life. Next move for Trump is to get rid of Pfizer. Got to get rid of Pfizer.
The FISA court's got to go. Yeah. The FISA court came in. The FISA court came in after 9/11. It was part of the Patriot Act.
Yeah, that's right. We got to revise the Patriot Act or get rid of it.
How about get rid of it?
Remember, we're only 8-9 months in. So we don't know what's going to be a year from now and still have 2 years to go. So just breathe, let Trump do his thing, and let his soldiers go to work for us. Okay?
Yeah. All right. Take care, IB. All right. Glad you got the phone worked out. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's Mike from Houston. How are you?
All right, Mike. It's a scary day.
Yeah. Hey, about Monica Lewinsky. Absolutely, she was a honeypot. My theory is she was Mossad. If you looked at who.
No, hold on a second here. You guys, not all Jews are Mossad. Okay, is Steve Kane Mossad? He's a Jew.
Yeah, no, and I'm not making that assumption. But if you look at her mother, once the proverbial, what hit the fan, her mother ran her like a case officer. And the other thing I was going to say is, as soon as she got over to the White House, she started trying to ingratiate herself and insinuate herself with the West Wing staff. She would come in with cups of coffee.
Listen, I don't want to go through the whole. I'm not here to relive the Lewinsky thing, but we're putting, this thing that happened with Kash Patel yesterday and now Tucker Carlson's dad with this Lewinsky connection, you know, there's a lot deeper things going on than we realize. You know?
I mean, it just kind of goes, so it's all interrelated. And this goes back to, I mean, they used to talk about this back in the 50s and 60s about how, for example, Ben Bradley, who later became the editor of the Washington Post, he knew James Jesus Angleton, the head of counterintelligence at Langley. Okay, they were all interrelated with one another.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's why I wanted to drop on you.
Okay, take care. Appreciate the call from Houston, Texas. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. All right. Now Steve's gonna join us after the top of the hour, and I'm gonna recap the details of this Kash Patel story after the top of the hour break with Steve. Pretty scary stuff, but I do want to mention a couple of other things first. I was talking the other day about some truck drivers. They were ticketed in Georgia because they were driving and they're not able to speak English. And President Trump signed an executive. Well, this has actually been on the books for a while, but now he signed an order to have it enforced. To drive a semi on the interstate highway system, you've got to speak English. Well, Sean Duffy, the transportation secretary, says that they have taken 1,500 trucks off the road because the drivers do not speak of the English. So that is something else. Now, we're getting Project Veritas. I'm going to go over this Kash Patel story with Steve, but Project Veritas has broken something I mentioned earlier, and we have some more verification, which I'll get to in a few minutes. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello, good morning, Brian. It's Ricochet, Trucker Ricochet. Can you hear me okay?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you. What's up?
Hey, good morning. You know, I kind of wonder this whole deal with the pilot and everything like that. You know, I cannot believe, and I doubt it very seriously, that they did not know that what this guy was involved in. And you know the phrase, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. You know, Trump has always brought people really close to him, knowing all the bad stuff like Fauci, you know, putting him out into the public, letting him expose himself. But, you know, and I think that's probably why Dan was so scared, you know, or looking scared. I don't really believe he was. I think maybe it was more of an act as well to draw people out. But to learn how deep this goes sometimes is such a scary thought when you look at government and how countries run, and this is just another thing of that. But they knew who these guys were. They did an investigation on all these agents.
I would not be so sure about the pilot. The other ones were more high profile. I mean, you get on a plane, the guy's in a pilot's uniform. You know, you ask for his resume and everything. You maybe, but maybe not. Because it's also yeah. Go ahead.
No, so what you're saying is this pilot was not an FBI agent while he was flying him?
Oh yeah. But what I'm telling you is Kash may not have known his background, because obviously what the pilot was doing was running a surveillance operation on Kash Patel. So he didn't disclose his checkered background to Kash. I can't believe that he would do it.
You don't think that when they went in to clean up the FBI that they didn't have a team investigating the background of all these agents and who was involved in what?
I don't think they had enough people. I don't think they had enough people they could trust to do that. No, I don't.
Well, you may be right. You may be right. And either way, whether they knew about it or not, it's extremely scary thing of what's going on. But they're going to get it handled, man.
All right. Appreciate the call, man. Yeah, I mean, this is tough. And I must say, we've had spectacular calls since 6 a.m. today, for the most part, except that we had to use the dump ones. But you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, hey, it's Joan from Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Joan.
Oh, about the truck drivers. I mean, have you ever seen those trucks go through the mountains in Tennessee?
Yeah, it can be scary. Through the Blue Ridge and all that. Yeah, it's scary.
You know, and they have these things that they can pull off to because they can't slow down. And you can see them brake, and you can actually, like if you're in the evening, you can see the glow of them trying to slow down going down the mountains. I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
To get those truckers off the road that can't speak or read or write English, yeah, number one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Donald Trump has done anything and everything he could do to try to protect us as Americans.
And he's doing it. And he's doing it.
He's doing it. He's doing it. I love that man.
Mm-hmm.
And I voted for him every time and in every primary.
Yeah. Yep. All right, well, listen, I'm going to run, but take care. Thanks for the call, all right? I want to tell you guys about Joe Thomas. Joe Thomas was in studio yesterday, and I was talking to him. A lot of people, when they're looking to retire, what they're trying to figure out is, okay, how much income do I need to have coming in every month so that I can pay my bills and have a bit of a life? And a lot of people, because, with an annuity, not only is your money safe, you're not going to lose money no matter what happens in the market, you're guaranteed an income stream for the rest of your life. And a lot of people don't realize that they already have enough revenue coming in if they were to get an annuity to retire now, not years down the road. What an annuity does, it puts your money to work for you without any risk. Put your money to work for you. So many people are consumed with, okay, I got to have this much saved up and then I can retire. What most people need is that revenue stream, regardless of their income level, whether they're uber rich or lower income. It's that monthly, they call it, I got to, what my monthly nut is. You hear that from a lot of people. Okay. And you would be surprised. You get that revenue stream coming in from that annuity. There you go. You're good to go. Give Joe Thomas a call. It's a no-charge consultation. You can take advantage of the no-charge consultation no matter where you are located in the United States. Okay? And he'll put together a custom proposal just for you based on your individual situation. Give him a call right now. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, JupiterJoe.com. And, of course, you can find his phone number there at JupiterJoe.com. All right. Now, after the top of the hour, Steve will be joining us. I am going to recap that entire story. But it is still Open MAGA Mike Friday. Friday is always open phone, so you can call in about any and everything on your mind on Friday's show. But this is some pretty big stuff. And I'm going to cover the Kash Patel as well as the latest on Fani Willis, which I mentioned earlier briefly, but I'm going to go through that too because the web against our great President Trump is it's big. It's a big one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Kenny, Palm Beach.
Hey, Kenny. What's on your mind?
I just had a question. Did you see if Laura Loomer noticed this story?
Laura Loomer knows everything. Laura Loomer knows everything. Sure, she knows about it.
I kind of agree. She's really good on doing background checking, but I didn't see any story on X.
No, well, what I mean by that is she knows about it now, because I know about it. But this story was given to me by someone at about 4:30 this morning. I came across this. I'm sure she knows about it now, but it was broken by another investigative reporter. But the president knows about it because Kash Patel just fired these guys. I'm sure he briefed the president. Kash knows. This isn't some random firing. This was a very coordinated event that the evildoers tried to prevent, according to reports. Hey, listen, I'm out of time for the hour, though, but take care, all right? Now, if you missed this whole story, Steve will be joining us after the top, and I'll fill Steve in on everything. I'm Brian. We'll be right back. Hey, I texted you. I got some. I can't tell you now, but okay. Are you guys there? Can you hear me? Okay, I got some good news but I'll call you. I'll call you guys after the show though and tell you. So you have to live in suspense. Yeah. Have you been listening? Mm-hmm. Okay. No, I want to recap this stuff. There's a big, massive stuff just happened with Kash Patel and Bongino. The good news, yeah. It's not a secret. I just can't tell you now because I can't let everybody on YouTube know. All right, but I'll call you. I'll call a few minutes after the show. I'll call you. Just let me get. Let me just get off the air and everything. Then I'll call you. All right, hold on. All right, you there?
I'm here.
Okay, we got about 90 seconds.
Okay, make sure you take me with you.
No. I want to start. It's a deep, wide web. Okay. So. Okay. Hold on. So I'm going to save the best name for last, but it's it's complex. It's so complex, I had to write it down myself. Okay, 30 seconds. All right, the third hour has begun. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here. I don't want to waste any time with celebrating the 49th year and all that stuff because we got, this is a dark, but let me tell you what happened, Steve. I did all my show prep. I got up early and I do all my show prep and I decided what my lead was going to be on when I was going to open with, right? And I had everything set up. And then somebody sent me something at about 4:30 this morning. And I read it, and it scared the living daylights out of me. In fact, it's so scary. It doesn't help that I'm sitting in my living room at 4:30 in the morning, right? And it's dark out. But it was...
Can it be good if it's scary?
No, it's scary. I still am... 3.5 hours later, 4.5. I guess it's going on 4 hours. I'm sick to my stomach. Literally, I'm really sick to my stomach. And I thought about, well, maybe I shouldn't share this on the air without talking to you first. And
you know me. Let's go over it.
Yeah, and it's such a large, dark web of deep state actors that it was hard for me to even get everything together, and I had to write down some of it, okay? Now, you heard about Kash Patel did some FBI firings?
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah, vaguely. Yeah, what the media did what they always do, right? When it doesn't fit, they bury the lead. But the first part I want to share with you is this, okay? And then I'll get to the FBI firings. This is crazy. Project Veritas has a whistleblower that has records. This is not the FBI Kash Patel part, okay? This is separate. This is the lesser of it, okay? Project Veritas, which was founded by James O'Keefe, of course, they interviewed a whistleblower who worked for this organization that Armstrong Williams was with. And she brought something to light about the lawfare against President Trump that's insane, okay? She has handwritten notes documenting, and some photographs, but she has handwritten notes documenting everything she is alleging. And this is what she told Project Veritas. She was working for some organization that Armstrong Williams was with. You guys remember Armstrong Williams? And Bill Barr, the Attorney General. Remember, Bill Barr was the Attorney General for Bush 1, and then he came back.
Yeah, he was supposed to be a good guy.
Yeah, he's the worst, Steve. He's a bad dude. He was
kind of at the end, it kind of came out.
Oh, well, you don't know where the end was. So Bill Barr was also President Trump's second Attorney General, if you guys remember the end of his first term. Well, while this Project Veritas whistleblower was working for this Armstrong Williams organization, Bill Barr, this was during the last 4 years, during the Biden presidency, okay? Mm-hmm. Bill Barr was coming to these offices that she worked at where Armstrong Williams was at. And he was conspiring to stop Trump. And he had an idea that he proposed. It was his idea. That was to bring RICO charges against President Trump during the last 4 years when he was out of office, to stop him from having a return to politics. It's a very long interview. She has handwritten notes that she made at the time detailing everything. And she's got photographs with all these people. So she and Project Veritas has verified her connections and everything. So Bill Barr was part of this team that Armstrong Williams was with to bring a legal case, a RICO case, against President Trump to stop him from running for president again. And she said in one of the meetings, Bill Barr, who was Trump's Attorney General, remember, said a RICO case is the perfect one to go after him with because they're almost impossible to defend yourself from. Well, if you remember, they did bring a RICO case against President Trump, Fannie Willis in Fulton County. So everything that happened in Fulton County was because of President Trump's second Attorney General, Bill Barr, were finding out of the lawfare. That's insane. That's one. That's a brand new thing. I've never heard that before. Project Veritas broke that. That's crazy town. So now, okay, so that's the first story. The second story is, and by the way, I mean, that is, this guy, I mean, for him to spend the, he's deep state. I think we can agree, Bill Barr. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's nuts. If that was the only story we had, that's a whole show of calls and discussions and stuff. But the one that scared me was this. This is the one that made me literally physically ill, not figuratively, but I am sick to my stomach now. Okay, so Kash Patel fired a whole bunch of FBI agents yesterday. I have the details on who they were and what they did.
You say recently?
Yesterday. They got to be out of the office. Okay, yesterday it came out that they had been fired and they got to vacate their offices by today. And you've seen this story in the news. And now we know, when I tell you who these guys are, and I'm going to save the best one for last, when I tell you who these guys are and what they were doing, this is why Kash Patel and Dan Bongino looked terrified and were sweating on television when they were interviewed by Bartiromo. Okay, they had a lot to be afraid of. The first guy they fired, his name is Brian Driscoll. And if you see a picture of him, they're showing pictures of some of these guys on TV. He's the one that has the curly hair. He was the acting FBI director when Kash Patel was going through confirmation hearings. This guy, he was so popular at the FBI. He's famous for not turning over the names of the FBI agents that worked on the J6 cases, okay? That's what that's publicly known, that he's very famous for that. You know how the military have challenge coins? You ever heard of challenge coins that soldiers have that they trade each other? This guy that they fired, Brian Driscoll, who was the acting FBI director during Kash's confirmation hearings, the FBI had internal challenge coins with just him on them. And they had this catchphrase, what would Driscoll, they called him, what would Driss do? And on the private challenge coins in the FBI of Brian Driscoll that was just fired by Kash yesterday, one of them was him sitting at the president's desk in the Oval Office. Well, this guy, not only, everybody knows that he wouldn't name the FBI agents in the J6 cases, but get this, Steve, he was the SWAT team commander of the SWAT team that broke into Mar-a-Lago. Okay? So that's the first guy they fired. He's from the FBI's. He was the commander of the FBI's most elite SWAT team that's based in Washington. Came down here to Florida to break into Mar-a-Lago. One of the other people they fired was Walter Gardenia. He's the FBI agent that broke into Peter Navarro's house and arrested him. Okay, and you may have seen Peter Navarro at a press conference at the White House yesterday being questioned by CNN, Peter Navarro, this guy, not only did he arrest Peter Navarro, he put him in shackles like an elephant at the circus, threw him into the cell where they held John Hinckley after he shot President Reagan, and they laughed about it. So that's the second guy. The third guy, and there's 4 guys here. There's some others they fire, but these are the ones that have the scary backstory. Third one here is a guy by the name of Stephen Jensen, who was just fired. Stephen Jensen was the FBI leader of the FBI's Domestic Terror Office, and he's the one that personally declared the J6ers were domestic terrorists. And when somebody has the terrorist designation, they lose their civil liberties. You can take them to a black site in Bulgaria, right? And torture them for 6 months, and nobody can do anything about it. But now, and then the final one is this. I can tell, Steve, you sound just blown away by the gravity of this story. The fourth and final one is a gentleman by the name of Christopher Meyer. Christopher Meyer was one of the ones that was fired by Kash Patel yesterday. Christopher Meyer was the FBI agent in charge of the criminal case that Jack Smith was running. So he was the FBI, Chris Meyer, who was fired yesterday, was the FBI agent in charge of the criminal case who got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago and was the senior agent working with Jack Smith.
So to try to sum it up, I'm trying to figure out if I've got it right. What you're saying is it was like a little hit squad that existed within the FBI, largely to get rid of Trump.
Oh, well, I left out the last part. I haven't gotten to the last part yet. So these guys, what they were, the best way to describe them, Steve, they were Jack Smith's henchmen. This was Jack Smith's team. One of them got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago. One of them was the leader of the SWAT team that actually broke into Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, I
these are bad guys.
To describe it, cabal. Would that be fairly
accurate? Yeah, but get this. So the first guy, Brian Driscoll, right? He's the guy that led the SWAT team that broke into Mar-a-Lago and actually went through Melania's underwear drawer and all that stuff, right? Went through her closet and all that stuff. The one that emptied out the president's desk onto the floor and all that stuff. That's him. Okay, he was the deputy director, Kash Patel. But they stayed at the FBI when Kash took over. So these are all involved in the lawfare against Trump. They were Jack Smith's team, Jack Smith's henchmen. They got warrants for Mar-a-Lago. They broke into Mar-a-Lago. They declared J6ers domestic terrorists, so they don't have their civil rights. They arrest Peter Navarro. But the one guy...
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Because you're right, it's a shocking story.
No, wait till you hear the last part.
Where do you expect it to go from here?
Oh, well, I'm telling you, it's good. This is going to blow up, Steve. So the guy, this is what's really crazy. Christopher Meyer, he's the one that was the senior agent at the FBI in charge, working directly with Jack Smith, and who got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago. Well, he also coincidentally held a commercial pilot's license. So when Kash Patel took over, these other guys gave him an undercover job. His undercover job. Now, this is the guy that got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago, was the number one agent in charge of Jack Smith's team. He had this commercial pilot's license. He has been for the since Kash Patel, since he's been FBI director, he's been the private pilot flying Kash Patel's FBI plane. He's been Kash Patel's private pilot for the past few months, since he's been FBI director. So what this guy was doing, they were running a surveillance op on Kash Patel. And it was reported that they were putting pressure on Kash Patel and maybe even threatening him. Since this guy has been undercover with this, Kash didn't know who was his pilot. He didn't know this guy was got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago was his pilot. This guy has been spying on Kash on the plane, and he flies on that plane all the time, all over the country. He knows everyone he was with. He heard his private conversations. He knows everyone he talked with on the phone, and it's being rumored that they have some dirt, and we're telling him, hey, if you fire these guys, this stuff's going to come out, and Kash still did it. So they were running a surveillance operation on Kash Patel the whole time he's been FBI director. So these
Is there any speculation as to where the story goes from here?
Well, they just got fired yesterday, Steve. Yesterday. It's still developing.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to get a picture.
Well, I don't know if they were running a surveillance operation on the director of the FBI. That's an off-the-book surveillance operation. That's illegal. So they were at the very least they were involved in an illegal surveillance operation of the director of the FBI. That sounds like it's got to be all kinds of felonies.
Are they in line to get busted?
Oh yeah, yes. I get these are guys that are I see indictments absolutely and prison sentences. I mean that's
the story.
This is one of the most scandalous things I think I've ever seen, Steve, come out of the government. I mean it's crazy that after everything that happened, they're still running. The coup's still going on, is what I'm telling you. These guys were just fired yesterday. So and one of them was so arrogant, Driscoll. He sent out a message to all the FBI, that went out to the entire FBI. I don't know why they're doing this. They fired me. They didn't tell me why. I don't know why I'm being fired. They got this surveillance operation of the director going on.
So you think busts are going to come from
this? Oh yeah. Got to get rid of them and arrest. This is
a hell of a story.
Well, it tells you that the coup against President Trump is continuing in his second term, his second and non-consecutive term. It's never ended. This coup.
Well, it tells you it's going on today.
That's right. And who knows who else has jobs here and there and everywhere? It is everywhere. And it's a deep, larger web. And when you heard, Bongino so terrified, you wouldn't believe the things I've seen or what I've heard. Now we're starting to know. This thing with Bill Barr, with Fannie Willis, the pilot, I'd be terrified too. I wouldn't want to get in my car. I'd be afraid, wouldn't you? I mean, these are some arrogant, deep state guys that are going on. And I was really like, should we talk about this or should I talk to you first? I mean, I'm like, I hear a noise. I'm looking over my shoulder right now.
Well, where so far, let me ask a question and see if we can get to the bottom of it. So far, where has it appeared in the media?
Well, the firing with some of the details has been in stuff like ABC News. The pilot story, that's starting to come out through some online news sources. And there's one journalist in particular. I don't have his name at my fingertips, but I'll look him up. But there's one journalist in particular. His name is, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. His name is Kyle Seraphin, Seraphin. And he's a former FBI agent. And is he a
reporter now?
He's more of a whistleblower than a reporter, but he's kind of taken over some investigative reporting duties now. He's a former FBI agent. He's a self-described whistleblower, and he's the one who broke the news about the pilot and these break-ins at Mar-a-Lago and the warrants.
It's a hell of a story.
Yeah, it is, and I'm in shock. I can't believe it. I
really can't. These guys are in more trouble than Comey?
Because they're not household names and famous like Comey, right? You know, Comey's at a higher level of nobility in the deep state than they are. I'm so late for the break. Let me put you on hold, Steve. I'm going to put everybody on hold. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, hold on. Come on back.
Okay.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian Craig. Steve Kane is here.
Question?
Yeah.
Is there any coverage of this in the New York Post?
Of this deep part of it? No, this is like news stuff in the middle of the night. It's not widely. We've got really pretty close to a full exclusive right now.
Well, that's why people listen to the show.
Yeah, I mean, this is
on the cutting edge.
No, I mean it's scary stuff. But you know, speaking of the cutting edge, I mean we were on the cutting edge of helping people with neuropathy. You know, your neuropathy was so bad, you were homebound and bedridden. I mean, you had every symptom in the medical journals with neuropathy.
It was awful.
Yeah, the dizziness, the falling down problems.
That's the word. For me, the pain is terrible, but to me. In neuropathy, it's the
dizziness,
the loss of balance that was the word.
Yeah, dizziness and all that stuff. It's awful. The feeling of pins and needles in the hands of. You went to your doctor. He said there's no treatment. You went to a neurologist, a specialist. He said there's no treatment. That's your life. Go home, live with it. And we found Lighthouse Medical in Pompano. Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy that works. And you had it so bad. You were just trying to end the suffering right then and there. And we didn't realize, but it doesn't just work, it lasts because you had that treatment 3 years ago and your neuropathy symptoms have not returned. So Lighthouse Medical has a treatment for neuropathy. They have a treatment that works and a treatment that lasts. Here we are 3 years out and your neuropathy symptoms have not returned. Give them a call.
The consult is no charge when you tell them you're a Steve Kane, Brian Craig listener.
That's correct. And they can help you no matter where you're located in the country too, not just local. Here's the number. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. All right. It is open phone, Steve. So it's open Mega Mike Friday. You want to take some calls?
Yeah, let's move them fast so we can see if anybody knows what we were talking about.
No, it is a massive story. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
The only inevitable indictments that's going to happen, and more than likely the outcome will be convictions, is Bondi, Patel, and Donald Trump.
Well,
Remember I tell ya.
that's interesting, and I don't know why. I don't know. You he hung up. He hung up. I was a little curious. You still with us, Steve?
Yeah, I'm with.
Okay, yeah. The caller hung up. He because I was interested because he had like I thought it was a celebrity caller. You know, somebody that does the voices for the cartoons with that kind of voice. I was and so far as Bondi and Donald Trump. We got these grand juries in Fort Pierce, Florida. Pam Bondi has. What is she bringing herself up for an indictment? That doesn't really make sense. All right, let's try. Maybe this is this idiot back. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
John Okeechobee.
Oh, hey, John.
I've got one question for you. You keep using Melania's underwear drawer. She doesn't wear underwear. She wears lingerie. I wear underwear.
Oh, okay. And it seems like you like to think about the first ladies. Oh, my goodness. I mean, this is... Is
that it? That's what you stood online for?
That's what he held online for, yeah. We're doing good, Steve. We're doing good. We got
along.
Yeah, the calls were so good earlier in the show. I don't know. Would you bring these people with you? All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield.
Oh, hey, Brian.
Hey, Brian. Hi, Steve. How are you today? You know, Brian, the whole time we were thinking maybe there was one mole with Pence, and now we're looking at multiple moles in multiple departments. We see that President Trump is fighting so many battles on so many different fronts that it's amazing. These guys, this deep state, it is huge, multiple people, and they're involved. They're just up there to their necks and everything.
Well, this part that's the craziest to me, is that the one guy who was Jack Smith's FBI special agent in charge that got the warrant.
Yeah, I always thought Barr was a good guy.
Did I say Barr? I meant Jack Smith. The special agent in charge who was working for Jack Smith and got the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago, that he's been undercover as Kash Patel's private pilot on his FBI plane, doing a surveillance op. Now that just blew me away.
It's shocking.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking close to home there. He's privy to all the bantering inside the plane and stuff like that.
Well, it's really... much of that. How long do you think it's going to be before everybody's talking about it?
I think it's going to be pretty soon. And I think people are going to be glad that we stood behind Kash Patel and Bondi and Bongino. Who knows where this is going to lead to? Who else is involved in this?
Yeah, this is big stuff. This is big stuff. And I was talking, I was talking to a caller in the first hour when I first broke the story. Last week and the week before, you guys know Kash Patel's girlfriend, the country singer?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, she's like beautiful, right? Woman. Yeah. And I did not know this, but she's a Jew, and that's really shocking to me because maybe you, Steve, know. I don't know too many Jews that are into country music. And I don't know of any Jews that are country music singers, but she's Jewish. And the significance of that is they started on the internet about a week ago, started slandering her. And it was so bad, it went viral that she was a Mossad agent. And I know that sounds ridiculous because, but she went on Megyn Kelly's show earlier this week and did an interview just about this. I'm not an Israeli agent. I'm not Mossad. She was serious. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking it was these deep state operators because they knew the firing was coming. And they were trying to put the pressure on Kash not to do it.
It's like science fiction.
Yep. The anti-Semitism in this country is on steroids now, and we've got to confront that. We've got to battle back against it. It's just a disgrace. I wonder if it's possible to squeeze these guys if they're going to start to sing now. But other people they know that are involved in this.
I'll tell you I'll tell you one thing we do know: Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were squeaky clean Marines. Because they would have leaked out. The guy flying him on his plane heard all his conversations, all his phone calls, knows everybody he was associating with. Okay, so and they're around Bongino too. They would have leaked trash out about these guys to run them out of the FBI before they let themselves get fired. So we know that these are two.
Wouldn't you guess, assuming all this is true,
it is
wouldn't you guess that it would be they wouldn't be able to sit on it beyond today without it being
the media? The media are an extension of the deep state. They're in the business of covering up the news, not reporting the news.
Well, I mean, Bongino. What about Bongino? He would not hesitate to cover it up.
Well, he's not going to talk. They're not going to. They should have a press conference explaining who these guys are and what they were about.
Well, I think they've got to.
But I don't.
It's got to get bigger than this.
I don't expect that.
It's true.
I haven't seen anything like that from Bongino and Kash. But
we're really in. This is a real battle, and this is winner take all, and this is a battle that must be won.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure Kash Patel knew exact. I got to get these guys out of here and stand up against them.
It took a lot of guts to get rid of these guys. It took a lot of guts to get rid of these guys.
Absolutely. I'm sure Kash Patel, he's trying to think, what did I say on the plane when this guy's flying the plane?
What we don't know is, when did Kash Patel know who the guy was flying the plane? Did he know all along? Did he find out down the road? I'm sure he didn't advertise. Oh, I'm the guy that worked for Jack Smith that gave the warrant to break into Mar-a-Lago. I don't, no, he was. It was kind of undercover. Had to be.
Could Kash Patel have actually been running a reverse sting operation where he just was letting this guy think he doesn't know, and the whole time he's just watching this guy?
I don't know. I don't know. That's
Brian,
what
do you think this is something Laura Loomer would know about?
Another she knows about it now, I'm sure, because I know about it. So if I know about it, she knows about it now. But this guy that broke the story is an FBI whistleblower and insider, and I'm expecting more details to come through him, because he's got he's got the insider contacts. Hey, listen, appreciate that. Appreciate the call.
I don't believe anything till I read it in the Post.
Well, you may never believe it then. All right, let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. We'll be right back. All right, Steve, we got about 30 seconds.
Okay.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. Steve Kane is here. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't forget, Steve, I got to call you after the show.
I'm certainly looking forward to it.
Yeah, so make sure you answer. Yeah. Well, the reason I say that is because I know, I turn my ringer off when I'm on the air, and I forget to turn it on, and then I find out on Sunday my ringer was off all weekend. You know what I mean?
I'll leave it on for this one. That's
and I
for
miss
sure.
everybody's call, people to call in hospitals and stuff. Okay, so we got some pretty big news here. Let me take a call or two. Okay, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Mark from Jupiter.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, how you guys doing? Hi, Steve. Hey, so listen, let me deviate a little bit from this huge story that you're breaking today, which is just unbelievable, mind-blowing. Just something bothered me a couple of days. I know it's Friday, so now I have an opportunity to talk about it. But I was watching this medical extraction from New Zealand to the Antarctica, or from Antarctica back to New Zealand. And I was just, once again, I just wanted to pull back the cover on the hypocrisy of the media and the disdain for American and American servicemen and women. They're making this story as if these pilots from New Zealand made the greatest mission ever in a military operation when they flew 1,800 miles each way, where our troops flew 14,000 miles round trip,
You're right.
37 hours,
yeah,
and involved 125 aircraft. We heard nothing but criticism about the president, but what they did there and the freedom that they enabled people, especially in that region, and the confidence in America. And we've heard nothing. But these pilots, a 20-hour mission with most was on the ground.
I got to tell you, that didn't occur to me, and it should have. I should have seen that myself. I should have come to that conclusion myself in the news, and nobody else picked up on that.
Right.
What a brilliant observation you have that nobody else has mentioned. These guys took this incredible mission into Iran at great risk and back, and they rescue a couple scientists on an iceberg. And by the way, how could they have any icebergs or anything down there during the summer? I thought, didn't they all melt? But
it's true.
Yeah. Do you remember about? Make a good point. You're right about that. These heroic. About 10 years ago, or maybe a little longer. Do you remember the icebreaker with scientists that got stuck and
stuck? Of course I do. Yeah, we're the same age. Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
They got stuck and they got out during the thaw, and But what they didn't tell people, they were global warming scientists. They went down there to study global warming, and they got frozen in the Arctic and got stuck in their boat and iced in. They had to send an icebreaker. Remember that?
But of course, like I always tell people, right? Fill that glass with ice and fill it with a drink to the top and go to bed. Wake up the next morning.
And turn your thermostat down to 60 degrees. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
All right. Take care. Appreciate the call.
Have a great weekend.
Appreciate the call. Somebody should write a book about all the global warming predictions of Al Gore, John Kerry, and the others that didn't come true. Right? Because I remember AOC said we had 12 years left. She's been in Congress how many years? So it's got to be pretty close, Steve. All right, let's take another call or two. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, Jay from Jersey.
Oh, here's another limited vocabulary caller, Steve.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah. Hey, well, I'm just curious. I'm curious why it doesn't concern none of you Republicans about why the prices are so high. I paid $9 for a jar of mayonnaise yesterday. Y'all don't seem to have a problem with the prices now when you had a problem when Biden was in office?
I've never, I don't like mayonnaise. I've never bought mayonnaise in my life. So I don't know how much it normally costs, but $9 seems excessive. I mean, how big, what is this? One of those big restaurant? Was it one of those restaurant sizes at Costco?
No.
What was the brand?
Regular jar at ShopRite.
Okay, what was the brand?
Hellman's.
How many ounces?
A jar of mayonnaise used to cost $3.99.
Okay, what size jar? What size jar?
It's very simple. Don't buy the mayonnaise if it's too expensive. What's your problem?
The problem is, it's not just mayonnaise, it's everything. When I left, I had 5 items in the bag cost $80.
I'm looking, a regular size jar of Hellman's at Walmart is $4.98.
Do you know how much a jar of mayonnaise used to cost?
Well, you just told me it was $12. I'm seeing it here at Walmart for $4.98.
I didn't say nothing about $12. See, that's what I say. You lie a lot.
Didn't he say something about? Did he not say something about 12?
It seems to be you.
Wait a minute. Did he not tell us the price that he paid was like $12 and something?
I said $9.
It's a Whopper.
How much did you say? How much did you say? I could have
said $9.
Well, it's
$9. You heard me.
It's $4.98.
It's a Joyce Kaufman Whopper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Remember the old days with Whoppers?
You know, it's a funny thing. I was telling somebody at the radio station. $4.98. I just look at Walmart. $4.98 for a regular jar of Hellman's mayonnaise.
No, well, ShopRite in Jersey is.
Well, I can't help that you got liberal taxes up there, but it's $4.98 here.
This is all Trump's economics.
Why is it $4.98 at Walmart, but $9 where you're at?
Because I live in Jersey and you live
and
in
you
that
have taxes, and you have
Florida.
we can't help the local taxes in New Jersey.
Well, wait a minute. Let me ask you a question. None of your groceries are higher?
They're lower. The prices are lower now.
Oh, you're a see. You just a liar.
This is what I did. I asked you the brand. I asked you the brand and the size. I Googled it. Buy Hellman's mayonnaise. They came up $4.98 at Walmart. I'm looking at it in my hand.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you know what size the jar of mayonnaise?
Well, first I want to hear what you're coming on the catching you in the lie. How do you account for this discrepancy between the Whopper you told on the air and the reality, which is that you're lying?
Steve, let me take it slow for you, Steve, because you old. I said I shopped in Jersey. Now Google a jar of mayonnaise in Jersey at ShopRite,
why would you shop at such an overpriced place?
Exactly.
You want me to travel to Florida to
Exactly.
get it?
You go to some gourmet shop, it's going to be more. But I'm looking right here at Walmart.
You ever take home ec in high
a gourmet shop.
$4. You can get two, Steve.
Did my mama teach you how to shop?
You can get two for $9.96.
You want me to travel to Florida to buy a jar of mayonnaise?
No, just Walmart. I can order this online at Walmart. This is for online Walmart.
Walmart there and Walmart here is not the same, you dummy.
Well, you're shopping at an expensive place.
So why would you shop at the expensive place?
Exactly.
If you can find it cheaper elsewhere.
That's how stupid you both are. ShopRite is not an expensive store.
Well, apparently it is, according to you.
No, it's not.
You're paying twice as much as Walmart for mayonnaise, and you're blaming Trump for it.
You know all of our groceries. 4 pieces of fish cost me $27.
Oh, well, what kind of fish was? All right, appreciate the call. I mean, that did. I love Google, Steve. You know, these callers, they just can't make all their crap up.
It is wonderful.
Isn't it?
Now we know why he's in such trouble.
Exactly.
He can't even buy a jar of mayonnaise. He's paying 3 times what everyone else
Oh, my
is
goodness.
paying.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. I don't like mayonnaise. I don't even know. I haven't had mayonnaise since. I don't even know what it tastes like. It's been so long since I had mayonnaise. I think I don't like it, but it's been so long. Maybe I love it. But I know this. It's only $4.98 at
and mayo,
at
and
Walmart.
you mix it with ketchup, and you got Russian dressing.
Yeah, I don't eat that either.
I
Steve.
wonder if you learned that in home economics.
I don't know. What a clown. All right, I want to talk about Dr. Appleton. If you're in pain, go see Dr. Appleton. You know, Steve, he's rid me of pain 7 times, sometimes from injuries, one time from my knee injury where I suffered for 30 years was from a car accident I was in 30 years ago. Because I was a passenger. You know, when you're in a car accident, you tense up, and I tensed up my legs, and I jammed up my knee. 30 years of pain and suffering. Dr. Appleton rid me of 30 years of pain and suffering in my right knee. He rid me of pain in my shoulders from 3 different injuries I had. I've fallen down on my skateboard and stuff. He rid me of my arthritis pain. And the cool thing about the laser treatment is, well, the coolest thing is it works, and it rids you of pain. There's no drugs, right? No shots, no injections, no downtime. Not only is it completely painless, you don't even feel it. Dr. Appleton performs all the laser treatments himself, and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are welcome even on Fridays. Give Dr. Appleton a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. That's 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back with the Gold Report. Hey there, stand by. Steve? All right, we are back, and it is time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated. William Youngerman, good morning.
How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing well. What do you have for us today?
Gold doing good. Yesterday, trading in a range of $33.65 all the way up to $3,403, and closed out the day up $26.70 at $33.94.90. Silver was up 47 cents, closing at $38.23 the ounce. Platinum gained $1 at $1,336, and palladium was up $19 at $11.58. Overnight, we saw gold trading in a range of $33.78 all the way up to $3,407. And right now, gold is at $3,400 the ounce, up $5.10.
Wow.
Silver up 7 cents at $38.30 the ounce. Platinum down $10 at $1,326, and palladium down $48 at $1,110. Palladium's getting down to it. Sounds like a great buying opportunity. Really? $1,110 on palladium. Palladium used to be as high as $5,000 an ounce.
Yeah.
So that might be a buying opportunity right now. But that's pretty much where we are this morning. Gold, $3,400 an ounce.
Wow, that's great news. You know, you talk about palladium might be a buying. You don't say that very often. Buying opportunity for palladium. What if someone comes in today or calls on the phone and wants to buy palladium? What form is it available in?
About the only form we have is the 1 ounce palladium bars. We do have a few of the very rare 1 ounce palladium eagles. They were made by the United States Mint. They're beautiful coins, and they are actually quite scarce. They do go for a pretty good premium over the palladium price.
But
it is a play on palladium and a great rare coin to purchase.
And the palladium bar, though, that's a better deal.
Yes,
Okay, there you go, guys. Listen, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m., and I've seen those palladium coins and bars. They're pretty cool and unique and very pretty. William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Stop in at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road. Give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. And you can find both his phone number and address on his website, WilliamYoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, have a great weekend. We'll talk on Monday.
Okay, thank you. You too.
All right, take care. The phones are ringing off the hook, and before we take the calls, while it is open phones, okay, and there's no doubt about that's open phones, I'd like to hear some of your comments on everything that I covered today with these FBI firings, because those firings are just so big and huge that I think it's one of the biggest political scandals in the history of the United States, really. If it wasn't for the Obama coup that's going on, of which this is a part of, it would be the biggest story of all time, without a doubt. All right, our number is toll-free, 1-888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. All right, once, twice. All right, we lost you. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Lynn from Boynton.
Hey, Boynton.
Hey, so listen, I was just watching this documentary last night on FDR and Eleanor Roosevelt, and it was very interesting, but I found out that Roosevelt actually was president for 4 terms, and
Yes.
I never knew that.
They died in the third. I mean, in the fourth.
Yeah.
He may have died in the third, too.
So,
he died in the fourth, yes. That's correct.
Well, in the fourth, yes. And it was fascinating because why can't Trump run for a third? If he
because
ran
after
before?
that, they passed the constitutional amendment restricting it after that.
Oh, figures, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Only a
Okay,
Democrat.
I just thought that was pretty
you,
interesting.
but what? Hey, a constitutional amendment can be amended. That's why they're amendments.
Yeah. There you go. Got to update. You know, Brian, got to update.
All right. Take care. Take care. All right. So our number is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are located. All right. I got Steve Kane back. Hey, Steve.
I'm with you. Go ahead.
Oh, boy. Oh, by the way, just to let you know, William Youngerman said palladium is a good buy today. And I think that's only the second time I've heard William Youngerman ever say that about palladium on the program in the report. So, all right. Back to the phones. They're ringing off the hook, Steve. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Cynthia from Lake Worth Beach.
Hey, Cynthia.
I wanted to bring up a few things about Jack Smith. I recently found out, you may have mentioned it, about his wife producing the documentary on Michelle Obama.
That's correct. Yes.
Already there. Yeah, you have some little murky area.
Of all
But
the
weird
prosecutors, you know, she had to
Yeah.
walk into mine, you know, yes.
Exactly. And then William Barr's father, because you brought up William Barr this morning. It was scary what you said this morning. But his father, who was an administrator at the Dalton School in New York, hired Epstein to be a teacher in the 70s. And they don't talk about that.
In fact, you know,
too much,
when you know at that school, you know, Epstein was a math teacher? He was a teacher, and he got into some trouble for being creepy with some of the students. Go figure, right? And one of the fathers of the students gave him a job on Wall Street. Can you imagine?
It's all
They're all the same creepy crew.
They're all creepy, and then lastly, with Kash Patel, it's sad that he can't trust anybody. It's like the Potsy.
But you know what? We can let me tell you though, we and the president can trust Kash Patel and Dan Bongino because these guys that were fired, not only were still running a surveillance coup-op on Kash Patel with the pilot, but Jack Smith's entire team just were fired, okay? And with their ongoing operation. If believe me, they've been digging for trash on Bongino and on Kash Patel. They came up with nothing to leak to the press to damage their reputations. So these guys are trustworthy and they're squeaky clean Marines. And I was too impatient with them. And for that, I'm sorry. I was a little too rough on Kash and Bongino. I was just impatient.
Yeah, and that's probably what Bongino was talking about last week.
I'd be scared too. The only reason I'm not nervous now is because you guys know about it and are talking about it. When I first got this information at like 4:30 this morning, I was really nervous. I was really like, should I? And I don't say this to hype stuff up. I know a lot of people do, okay? I don't hype stuff up. I was really, I wasn't sure. I wanted to talk to you, Steve, before I went on the air. And I thought, maybe I should talk to Steve first before I go public with this. And then I said, you know what? How can I talk about anything else? Right? I wouldn't be able to with this on my mind. So yeah, it's this.
No, I'm glad you did because I wouldn't have known about it. And I totally agree with you. Kash Patel and Don Bongino, I completely trust. I just think that whoever is with him in the FBI, they should really vet these people so close to him. That was a little.
It's hard. Who's going to do the vetting? I mean, you come in, you're an outsider, you're running this massive organization that's 100 years old. Yeah. Richie called earlier and he's like, "Oh, these guys are all on the take." They're not on the take. It's a brotherhood, a fraternity that goes back generations. Yeah. They're not bribed like somebody, like some dirty cop. It's a brotherhood that I call it like the Eyes Wide Shut crowd, for the movie. Yeah. They're this secret society of people that really run the country.
Right. It's very scary. So thanks for bringing it up.
Well,
this
thank
morning.
you for your call. Appreciate it. You know, Steve, I'm doing something today I hadn't done in years, really. I'm wearing my wife got me this new belt, one that actually fits. My other belt, I've lost so much weight thanks to Coastal Weight Loss Secret. I put so many holes in my belt, it was starting to go around my body again. And my wife got me this really nice belt from the Trump store. She got me this as a gift for Father's Day. It's a Trump belt. It's a really cool belt, and it fits like perfectly. But not only am I wasn't wearing a belt for the longest time because my waist was big enough, it held my pants up without the belt. But now I need a belt. But I'm also doing something I hadn't done for a long time. I'm wearing an alligator Alcatraz T-shirt. I have my T-shirt tucked in. Before I wasn't tucking my shirt in to cover up my belly, but now I got a flat stomach. I want to show everybody my great weight loss. And, you know, my results are not unusual with Coastal Weight Loss Secret. They're typical. I lost about 1 pound a day. If I would have exercised, I would have lost more, but about 1 pound a day without exercising, that's pretty good to me, right? Give them a call. It's a no-charge consultation. No matter where you're located, though, they can help you with your weight loss, okay? 561-247-6300. And I know a lot of you have called and taken advantage of the free consultation and are losing weight. 561-247-6300. And online, coastalweightloss.secret.com. All right, you want to take some more calls, Steve?
Yes.
All right, here we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Morning, Steve and Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ.
JJ, what's up?
Okay. Well, this is crazy, exciting stuff, Steve. This Project Veritas, this video, this interview with Patricia. I mean, we're looking at Bill Barr and Fannie Willis. We got bags of cash and burner phones and a Visa fraud scheme, and it's just insane that. And this girl was very meticulous. In the Project Veritas video, I think this is why O'Keefe was pushed out. I think the Project Veritas people back when this was going on, the spiders, the deep state people found out about it and they worked to get him pushed out. But now that Trump has come in and these people that took over, they're not stupid. They see the writing.
Well,
on the
you know
wall.
what?
They
About
see
a
what
month
was about to
ago,
happen.
I saw James O'Keefe about a month ago, and he was talking about something with Project Veritas. Is he back at Project Veritas?
I don't know. This is like Catherine Herridge. I didn't know Catherine Herridge was back at Fox either, and you showed a clip of her yesterday.
Yeah,
so,
but this,
I don't know,
but
maybe
this Bill Barr story with the RICO thing, and Fannie with this whistleblower who has pages, and she wrote down everything. I saw it. If you go,
very believable.
Yeah,
very believable.
And this is wild. It's all part of the Obama coup conspiracy. It's all one big RICO. You know what I mean? These aren't independent things. It's all the same people.
I mean, Obama and Biden, the FBI and the DOJ was where they infiltrated the most because they're the jackboots. They're the enforcers to try to control things. And it's just one big giant. I mean, people talked about a web. It's a web of deceit. And, Bongino and Kat, they're on a friggin' spider hunt because the corruption is throughout the entire government. But this story right here,
Which one?
This could be.
You mean you're talking about the pilot?
Project Veritas, Bill Barr. everything that's going on right now.
And for that one, because James O'Keefe and Veritas get no publicity anymore. But the story on its own is huge. But you put that Veritas story with Bill Barr in with this Kash Patel story I've been covering today, the Obama coup with the fake intelligence reports. Do you know that James Clapper, Steve, wrote the fake intelligence on WMDs in Iraq? James Clapper wrote that fake intelligence brief. Tulsi said it the other day. So we're out of time for the week, and we've only just begun.
Great show, guys. Great show.
All right, thanks. All right, we're out of time. All right, Steve, I'm going to be calling you off the air in a few minutes. So,
yes.
All right. It's the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll see you Monday morning at 6 a.m. God bless Donald Trump and Kash Patel and Bongino. All right, we're out. Okay, we're still on YouTube. I was going to take another call or two on YouTube, Steve, before we sign off, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, if you guys want to call in on YouTube, you can. A couple people on hold. They've been holding for a while, so I don't want to. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
Hello?
Yep. What's your name? Where are you calling
Hello?
from? Yes. What's your name?
Louise from Boca.
Oh, the mask lady.
Yes. We're big Trump
Hey,
supporters, but we're not happy with two things. The prices, Jersey, Jay from Jersey is correct. The gas was up in front of Walmart. The prices already were up in front of Walmart. They're either gouging us, and we're not happy about there's no tax on Social
Well,
Security.
first of all, Louise, you're never happy. I looked up the price of the mayonnaise.
No, I don't want to hear about the mayonnaise. The bread already
You said Renee was right. He brought up the mayonnaise.
No, I'm not talking about mayonnaise. I'm talking about prices.
Gasoline prices fluctuate here and there a few cents up and down every day.
They just jumped up to $3.05 from $2.98.
For regular unleaded, I saw it for $2.60 something yesterday.
Well, this is the Murphy that is usually very, very low. We're not happy.
Go to a different gas station, Louise. Go to a different gas station.
No.
Okay. Keep going to the one that pays more money. All right. Appreciate the call. All right. Well, that's it for today, guys. All right, Steve. I'll call you in a few. Okay. We should do more of the post shows, like just online after the radio show.
It's kind of fun.
It is, and you can. We don't have to dump everything they say when we're just online. You know what I mean? Because you don't have the language problems that you have on the radio. Oh my goodness. Sometimes when somebody calls and it's just online, I instinctively go for the dump, but I don't hit the button. It's just like a habit. I hear profane. Sometimes I'm having a conversation with my wife. I'll hear somebody say something and I'll reach for the dump button in the car. What? It's I'm so used to it. All right, that's all the time we have. I'll call you in a few, Steve.
You got it.
All right, take care. All right, thanks everyone. I'll be back, of course, throughout the weekend with podcast and everything, taking your calls. If you're new to the channel, this is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure that you subscribe, all right? And if you're already subscribed, please like the video. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care.